Boom. 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 Boom.
Hello and welcome back to the Pop Tab Podcast, the podcast that's as sweet as soda for breakfast. I am one of your hosts, Brent Kruscke, the upholder of the unpopular opinion.
Oh, nice.
And joining me today, as always, is the ghost host, Jacob Stokes.
Mine's already cracked.
That's why I covered for you. I saw the yours was already open. I went to open mine beforehand. I was like,
I was going for
wait.
the schlurp.
Ooh,
I was going for the schlurp. It's
Like
the
it,
best I
like
got.
it. And if you don't know, this show's live over on twitch.tv/RealPixel. You can be part of the conversation. You can join in, all that stuff. Audio versions are available on the Patreon. It's free. It doesn't cost anything. Patreon.com/RealPixel if you want to catch it there. And it'll be also available on YouTube if you want to watch it later on. That's also free. It's free, free, free. That's what we do here. Just a bunch of free content. Free, free, free. Our
all it
YouTube
is.
officially hit over 1,000 views.
Nice. It's a good start.
It's a good start. It's pretty funny on the weekend that we do our day job where we have a video within just at 48 hours live, we hit 121,000 views. That our other YouTube channel just hit 1,000 overall.
Total. Yeah. Hey, we got there.
Cheers to us. 121,000 views is pretty cool. We made that happen. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that was. Wait, to the 1,000? You said 100,000.
Yeah, 121,000.
Yeah. Well, I was saying because that 100,000 happened already.
Oh yeah, we already have.
Yeah. Well, you said 100. That's why I was like,
Oh,
wait.
yeah.
I'm like doing the math. Like, did I hear that wrong? No.
No,
Yeah.
no.
100,000 was a month.
Oh, from Duskmorn, you mean?
Yeah. That was middle
October,
September.
Yeah. Yeah. So almost
middle September.
Almost 2 months because
Almost
we're
2
getting
months, yeah.
really close to
I
the
mean,
middle of this month.
It probably took a while to get to the 100.
Oh yeah. It's set at around the 80, 90 for I think a while, but
We got there.
we got there in the end.
Now we
so
got
that's
two of
pretty
them.
cool. Now two of them.
2 of them.
200,000.
And we got top
plus
comments
videos.
in this one, right? Like
Oh yeah, it's like
big interactions.
I mean, I didn't even check comments recently. Yesterday they were 880. There might be 1,000 comments by this point. I don't even know.
Yeah,
because there's
maybe.
been 20,000 more
Maybe.
views since
I
I
can
checked.
pull it up, huh?
So that's a lot. 20,000.
Volume
That's a lot of people.
Volume's off. 20,000 is more than the entire population of the city.
Well, we're in a small, big town, you know.
It's got city in the name, though.
That
so
is true.
It's officially a city.
It is a city.
Right?
It's the biggest.
No matter
small
how
town
many
I've
people
ever been
move
in.
out,
Yeah.
it's still a city.
So, what were you thinking? Because you were like stalled there for a second. I was like, you remember what you were typing?
I forgot what I was
Yeah,
typing.
yeah.
I was like, do I go to the video? Do I go
That
to the channel?
happens.
All right, so it's at 122K.
Woohoo!
Another 1,000 coming out the woodwork. I guess, will it show me? Oh, yeah, 1,038 comments.
Look at that, 1,000 comments. I remember when there was.
remember.
So when it was out for members only, I was reading every comment as they came through and stuff just to check to make sure nothing was wrong.
Oh, right. And
Right.
everyone just glowing.
Yeah, and everyone was great. And then it went live, and I was watching the views go up as it went live because of something I'll tell you later. Because I had nothing better to do besides sit and stare at it at this particular moment. But it was about every minute we had 100 views for the first hour, which was
And I think they stop them at certain spots to throttle, right? Isn't
Yeah.
that, or to check they're not bots or something?
Yep. So that was pretty crazy. It was cool to watch as it's like, oh, another minute go by, another 100 views. Oh, another minute, another 100 views. It was like, doop, 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 doop. It was crazy.
Nice.
So that was fun. But as we start every show, we start with a little bit of housekeeping. First things first, the plans for stream this week. I've got Thursday, Friday, and Sunday the plans to stream. Saturday, we are streaming, but we're streaming for the day job, doing it over on Drip for Covert Go Blue. So there won't be a real Pixel stream. But for Thursday, if Alec's available, I think we're going to start playing Gears of War. If not, I'm going to try to finish up Callisto Protocol. And then Friday and Sunday will be Gears of War with Alec. So it depends on what his schedule is for Thursdays. His Thursdays are wishy-washy depending. So I think he's
I'm
usually
surprised
busy.
you don't have like days segmented of like Thursdays that I play something solo to check off the box.
Well,
Friday,
it's,
Saturdays are with him if it's the weekend he's available. Otherwise, and then have like an every other weekend. But
it's because the every
schedule
other
is,
weekend.
like, it's like up in the air all
And
the
we
time.
just-
Like, I never know.
We just finished, like, because our schedule was pretty set with Halo stuff. And we just finished all that. So I texted Alex, like, oh, what game do you want to play? And I was like, he's like, I
How
don't know.
about another huge series?
Well, for me, I was like, I kind of missed that early 2000s shooter hype games that we used to play a ton of. What's another series that we did that with? Gears of War. So that's what it was. But I want to finish Callisto Protocol because I've really liked playing it. So I'm really excited to get back to it. I think like I said, it was very similar to like Hellblade, where it's just like very heavy and every move or combat choice is really important. I really like those more than just the hack and slash of a lot of third person kind of adventure games right now, where you can go in, oh, let's kill like 30 enemies in one room, then go to the next room, kill another 20 and stuff.
Yeah.
It's like there's one guy in this room. That might be too much if I don't play my cards right. Or two people, I'm like, oh no. Luckily, there's a lot of environmental things that help you.
Yeah.
And you get like a glove that like, because you're in a prison and they've got these collars on them. The guards have this glove that like stops them or grabs them. And you find a dead guard, you steal that glove. So all the people that are infected still have those collars. So you can grab them and then like throw them into like fans or grinders and stuff in the wall. And that helps a lot. Because before it was very much like I'm swinging trying to beat these guys to death.
Nice.
So, no, I've been really liking it. So I do want to finish it.
I have not been. I mean, I don't know how long it's been. 6 months of me not feeling those heavier games. Mm-hmm. I guess heavy because you said heavy. The way you move slow and they're chunky and thematic is like I've been feeling more a battle pass guy lately.
Yeah, you can only the game's got to be a certain length. Like I don't want a 30-hour experience like that. Yeah. But I think Callisto Protocol is supposed to be between 8 and 10. Hellblade I think is right around there. I think if you go over the 12-hour mark is like it might be too slow if it's that slow heavy.
No,
but
it would be for sure.
Yeah. But I'm enjoying that. And then we go over what we've watched over the past week. 2 weeks because we took last week off. I haven't watched a lot. I've been playing actually a lot of games because of all the Halo stuff and things like that, trying to wrap that up, which I did finish. I have 100% in the Master Chief Collection, 700 out of 700 achievements, and I finished it 10 years. 100 years would be a long time. 10 years to the day that I got my first achievement, or the day technically the game came out, because obviously the game came out, I played it the day of, and you get an achievement for beating one campaign mission or playing one multiplayer mission. So it's like the game came out, I got an achievement. So the day it came out, 10 years to the date, finished it up 100%, felt very accomplished. So that's exciting.
You went, we always start everything with what we watched. I beat Halo.
Well, it's because I don't have a ton of stuff
I didn't
watched.
watch much because I've been playing.
Well, because I did
it.
watch a lot, but it was a TV show. We don't usually go over TV shows. I watched a lot of All American, which is a TV show that I just got hooked on. I have been putting on in the background while getting other things done or doing stuff around the house. It's not like I sit and watch every episode. Something big happens, or it seems to be like this season ending, finale, yada yada. I'll sit and watch those episodes because usually big stuff happens. And then I kind of step away and go back and forth and things like that. Obviously, still watching One Piece. Have a lot more to get through. Give him the call right now.
I don't know. It might be.
Okay. Holding. We got business to take care of, and we knew the call would probably come in during the show. So this is a perfect moment that we do that. So mostly just dead air. I'm just going to be filling right now. I'll probably cut this out of the post stuff, YouTube, audio version, all that. But just killing time so we can get Stokes back here for the rest of the podcast. I'm trying to think. Oh, no, I want to talk about that once we get going. Let me check actually right now. I don't believe I do. If I have any packs in Pokemon Pocket to open. I don't believe I do. Taking a second to load. The white screens, my phone's old, but the white screens in Pocket take a long time to get through, so. Let's see. Nope. No packs. All right. So hopefully it doesn't take too long, but we'll see how it goes. I'll just go through. Watching One Piece. I don't usually talk about it a lot because Stokes isn't watching One Piece. It's a long show. We could talk about it endlessly. You could have a whole podcast, multiple podcasts about One Piece. But just finished up Dressrosa, if you're familiar with that, which is really cool. And I am now getting into like the next section. There's even in the episodes last night, they created the Straw Hat Fleet. So Luffy kind of against his will became the leader of a fleet of ships and a bunch of captains and stuff. So that's pretty exciting, pretty big for the world at large. And that's what I like now that we're at this part in One Piece is that we're affecting the world at large, not just Luffy and the crew. So I'm excited to see where it goes from here.
All right, everything's shipped out. I'm just laughing because you tagged me in something on X. That's just funny.
I was just like, yeah, I'll just do the thing. The social media thing.
Did it, done it.
All right.
I'm on Blue Sky.
So I tagged you there too. And
Maybe I don't have notifications.
I forgot that you have to do the .bluesky. or whatever,
Ugh.
which is just a lot of characters. I forgot about that. And then you can't edit it unless, like on Blue Sky, you can't edit a post like you can on Twitter. Well, you could on Twitter. Now you have to pay to edit on Twitter. It's a big thing. So you're technically
they're
a word tag
bankrupt
there.
the doc, dude.
Anyway, talking about what we were watching, I was in All American.
Did you have nothing in
One Piece.
Letterboxd?
No, I did. I have two things.
Oh, okay. Well, because you led right into games because you had nothing. So
Yeah. Well, I assume you had a little bit more.
I guess I can spoil yours. On Halloween, you watched
Creature from the Black
Creature.
Lagoon.
Is that one of
which
your
I guess
two?
I don't think I even logged it in my head.
You piece of shit.
But I can
Piece of
retroactively,
human
right?
garbage. Yeah.
Okay.
You can change the date. You can put I've watched this before. So it'll automatically put I've watched this before if you have logged it.
Gotcha.
But if not,
I've seen this before.
you can
Saved.
manually. Yep.
So yes,
And you chose the right date.
Yep.
Cool.
31st October 2024. I watch Creature from the Black Lagoon every Halloween. I love it. I always either find something new or there's a new like version. You know, for a while there was like the DVD, then there was the Blu-ray, then there was 4K, then there was 3D, and then the there was like a ton of different stuff. Now I've just been mostly watching the 4K digital that's just on my TV. But even then, I still find things or catch things I didn't notice or like a lot of goofs or a lot of like, I wonder if that was a choice or if this is just how it showed up in dailies and they had to go with it because reshooting was too much, yada, yada. But I love Creature from the Black Lagoon. I watch it every Halloween. So that was my Halloween watch. I think
Nice. I went to a friend's house and I think he suggested Infested, which we had just
okay.
recently seen and was good, but it was also like over 2 hours and it was on a Thursday, right?
Halloween
was
was a Thursday, I believe.
Yeah,
So
and I was like, I'm not trying to.
Yes.
You know, we would have been starting the movie at about 10, and I was like, we need to plan for something different because I'm not trying to stay out till 1 a.m. on a school night.
on a school night.
Yeah,
on a school night.
school bag.
Yeah.
So I suggested, and we watched The Autopsy of Jane Doe.
Ooh, that's a good
Mostly
one.
because I've been trying to get Shay to watch that for a long time, but she just keeps refusing because she goes, autopsy, I'm gonna hate it because the body horror stuff. She's a very look away, doesn't want to see any of that. And I was like, Shay, trust me, it's not that kind of autopsy movie,
Right.
And I was like, this movie, if it weren't for the nude woman on the table, would be PG-13.
I was gonna
Turns
say,
out they really just say fuck a lot too, but
Well, yeah,
they're
yeah.
like, well, we're here. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah,
We
we
can't
have
get
to-
away
yeah.
from this.
It's
But,
also, I
yeah.
think, most like if you can do with an autopsy tastefully done. If you can use the word tasteful in an autopsy,
sure.
I feel like it's
Yeah, I don't think, and they
that's not the horror of the movie.
no,
Yeah.
no, they didn't go too much into it. There's a little bit of it, but even then, it's only implied. It's like, gotta get the rib cage open, so it's Brian Cox with the
Yep.
breaking things, but it's from below the table that you can't see him doing it. You
Right.
just see him doing it.
You,
You know what I
you
mean?
see the movements, you don't see the
you don't-
actual
you
ribs
see
crack.
you see the cause, not the effect.
Yep.
So that's how the movie's done most of the way. But then it's just a good movie. Other than that, and they all really liked it.
That's great.
It got actually every movie I've watched got my heart.
Me too. But I mean,
You had
Creature, the new one did get my heart, which I'm excited to talk about.
Well,
And
I
then-
got it. So yeah, you're next, I guess.
All right. So the new one I watched was Woman of the Hour, the new Anna Kendrick movie on Netflix. We were looking for something to
A
watch.
lot of people watch that one.
Couldn't find where to watch anything to watch that we wanted to. It was on the list. Bethany's like, we could do this, or I've decided I'm gonna just dive headlong into all the bad romance Christmas movies this year.
That's what you've said.
I've said I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna start
like just because the Netflix ones,
just
they're
because of all
everywhere?
the ones that they're there, and I'm
Sure.
like, let me go on it.
I would have guessed you'd like that.
And I'm like, do you want to start that now? It's early November.
This was what, yesterday, 2 days ago?
2 days ago.
Yeah, so I was like, it was pretty recent.
So it was
for you.
like, do you want to start that now or do you want to hold off? Because, we're going to watch the same movie 30 times because that's what these movies are. They're the same movie. But Woman of the Hour was something that she wanted to watch. And I was like, cool, we're still in the spooky. Let's get into it. And the most surprising thing, because it actually is directed by Anna Kendrick. It's her first
Debut.
directorial
Directorial
debut. And I usually, when you see an actor come to do directing, I feel like they make a lot of safe choices because they want to get their project done. I felt like she made a lot of bold choices, and I think all of them worked Like there was a lot of different shots and the way it was shot or positioned or things. And I was like, and even the way the story was told was different than what I thought it was going to be.
Probably in the script, that part.
Yes.
But yeah.
But like the way she shot certain things or it's like,
That's great.
You can shoot a shot 10 different ways. You can shoot a car crash 10 different ways, but everyone's going to do it their own way. And I felt like she made bolder choices than I expected, and I really enjoyed it. And I had no idea about the movies about a serial killer. I had no idea that this guy existed.
That is real?
Yeah, so it was really interesting to learn about him. And then obviously go to Wikipedia.
I love watching those videos late at night on YouTube that are here's the last photo ever taken of this person.
Yeah.
The top 10 last photos taken, the videos, the creepy, only in context, those kinds of things.
The real morbid.
There's a guy I watch that he mostly does deep dives and gets a little bit, he goes like 3 levels deeper of like, this is less public knowledge and more like, here's one story on Reddit and the guy who dug into that story and how it gets further. His name is Nexpo.
Okay.
Nexpo. He's got ones that like, watching it at night, I am like, oh, I actually feel creeped out because of how real this is. One of the popular ones, like there's the concert that was going on that was in a building that wasn't to fire code and it caught fire and people got wedged in the doorway and they all burned alive. That he goes through the footage. He talks like he goes in depth about it, and that's one of 10.
Oh, that's interesting.
He's got a just his normal YouTube series is pretty much a series of its own where you could just watch all of them and you'd get the through line. But he has a sub one that's more of the like, let's get people into my channel called, I think, Most Disturbing Things from Around the Internet.
Okay.
It's a long title, but there's a couple, he takes the ones that are the misses or the ones that are just, yeah, sure, maybe, and puts them in between like bangers. So there's not really one you can skip. They're all really good.
Gotcha.
And then he deep dives one. I was just watching one. It's like a 2-hour video. This one that I was watching yesterday, or not yesterday, last week rather. That was about missing hikers in a mountain in Japan.
Oh,
and
okay.
The mystery of it and how possible one thing versus the other was because, well, if his leg was broken, how could he move this thing? And how it was just unsolved. And it was awesome because he gets he makes a lot of money on this. He does a lot of digital renditions of things. So there's like an art to what he's doing anyway.
Like almost like a digital reenactment?
He's not just a compilation voiceover scary guy. There's something he is creating in that space.
Very cool.
But that's where I've seen this story. So every once in a while I get reminded of like a random, I'm like, I have heard that story before because of creepy Nexpo.
It's so funny because in my head it was like, what are the chances that a serial killer was on a national TV show that a lot of people watch? Like the dating game or whatever is like it was a big thing that we like you see it and everyone knows what it is.
Yeah.
And it was like, well, it was in the 70s. It was harder.
They didn't vet people the same.
Yeah, and crime was easier to get away with because of all the technology, blah, blah, blah. But then I was like, there was also way less TV shows getting made. So maybe the odds are like the same. Like if you go like, it was easier to get away with stuff, but there were less TV shows. So if you ramp them both up.
There's probably also a sort of like, who cares to it now?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like they pull up a Hall of Fame linebacker, Ray Lewis, to talk about football all the time. And it was like, he murdered somebody. That guy's a murderer.
Yeah.
But everyone knows it.
Yeah.
And there he is. It's not a serial killer.
It's not a serial killer.
That's different. But also that's the other thing too, is I think with or without the real serial killer being on the show, we have serial killer shows all the time.
All the time, yeah.
Like it's inundating.
Yeah.
With serial killer
and with
true crime, maybe to be more broad now.
Yeah, and the fact that maybe it was just like, it's just really interesting to think like, now it's like if you go and watch like a reality show, it's like, I wonder if they put a serial killer in this, and I won't know until 10 years later when she's arrested or whatever. You know what I mean?
But also, who was the last serial killer you can name?
That's a great question.
Right? Because I think
70s and like early 80s, late 60s, that window in between was just ripe with serial killers. It was crazy.
Every single one I could name, I think, goes up through wasn't the Night Stalker? Wasn't he late 80s?
I think so, yeah.
That's still the 80s, but that's like, when was Gacy, I guess? Was he the 90s?
Maybe. I mean, it's hard because it's
idea, because this also isn't my bag. Like,
yeah.
I like horror stuff enough that I just, through attrition, just know some of this, but
there was a window of time where I was very into learning about all the big names, all the things, but that's like 15 years removed now. I don't remember any of
I
that.
think it's only 15 years.
It's probably been like 20 years removed. I don't really remember
Was it
any
pre
of
or
it.
post Halo 2?
Around that time, so probably like 20 years.
20 years, there
Yeah.
you
So when I first started taking like writing seriously, and I was like, oh, I want to write a horror something or another, and
Sure.
but that
Did you end up doing that?
I did end up doing that. Yeah. It was that the story that I was doing that research for didn't end up happening. I wrote it multiple times, but it never went anywhere. I think I wrote a script and put it into a contest, but didn't win anything, so it just kind of stayed there. But I don't know any of it anymore.
Yeah.
But it was the other thing I noticed is because it takes place in the 70s. I was like, it's crazy that watching the show. I was like, it's funny how the clothing of the 70s, the style of just everyday wear in the 70s, awesome. The style of high fashion in the 70s, awful. Like, I was like, it's weird, the dichotomy where it's like, man, just them hanging out, like, you know, they've got like the jackets and the jeans and the tight shirts. And I'm like, that looks all great. Fantastic. And then you get like the big triangle collars on the things and the dresses with the weird designs all over the place that don't make any sense. I'm like,
They get big.
man, it's crazy the difference in the style where it's like, this looks great. This looks awful.
Richard Ramirez was the Night Stalker, and that was 84.
Oh, it's still, I mean, right in the middle, but early 80s.
Yeah, I have a timeline that goes through 2010, and even then, the last one is Harold Shipman in 1999.
Wow. Do you think they just got better? Do you think they're just getting away with it more?
And it looks like he was a doctor who killed his patients, it's like secretly.
Oh,
Which is a serial killer, but
Totally.
it's not the same kind, you know that.
yeah.
And then the guy who killed Gianni Versace was apparently a serial killer in 97.
Crazy.
Yeah, but then it just goes right to the 80s, and then after, like, look at the 80s. Look at that. I mean, it's the 60s too. Like, there's the
Yeah.
Zodiac Killer, the Boston Strangler, Ed Gein, John Wayne Gacy was 72, by the way. I thought he was in the 90s. That's how
What
little I
happened
know.
between 60s and 80s?
Jeffrey Dahmer, Ted Bundy,
Oh my God.
Son of Sam. I haven't
you-
heard that in a
do
long
you
time.
think-
Charles Manson.
Because like 60s, 80s, I'm trying to think is like, was there like a mentality and easier to get at people? Because like it's very like 80s
dude.
like latchkey kids, like they were just out and about. It was very easy to like get people that didn't
don't
want to
know.
be. I don't know. It's just like, why is that window? I'm sure there's a book or somebody's figured it out, and I just don't know. But it seems crazy that there's like, here's this window of serial killers.
Yeah, maybe it's got to do something with proliferation of information, like television and news and radio being more popular and more interconnected than ever. People are like, oh, I want to kill those whore teens, you know what I mean, or whatever. They're just like, man, that's really pissing me off. I mean, just think how much that's been exemplified, like over the most recent everything.
Yeah.
That's like, wow, everyone's just getting angrier and angrier and angrier.
Yeah. But anyway, Woman of the Hour. It's a great watch. You should definitely check
Take
it
it out
out.
his heart.
Anna Kendrick definitely deserves praise for her work as acting, which she always does, and directing
It's
in
got
that movie.
294,000 views on Letterboxd, like logged
Very cool.
views. So,
All right, what did you watch?
was that everything?
I got one more.
Oh, okay. We started for family dinners. We started going through the list.
Oh yeah, could we like most scary, least scary?
Yep. So if I haven't explained, have I explained it here?
Yeah, I think we talked about it.
The point
Where
system, and I got
rate-
the ranking
you got
and
everybody.
everything. Yeah, that makes sense. Well, the bottom was werewolves.
Yes.
So it's really tough, especially thinking the bottom. I'm like, do I try to pull up the actual scariest werewolf movie? And I'm like, that's tough because it's the least scary. What's the scariest, least scary thing?
Yeah.
You know?
I also
Shay
think
and I actually decided we're like, this one's just more iconic, I think. So we just did an American Werewolf.
I was gonna say I think even when I think of werewolves, I don't ever think of scary. I just think of like you could make a good werewolf movie. So I think going that route's the right way.
I thought about doing the Wolfman, the Benicio del Toro
Oh,
Wolfman.
with the Wolfman
I
fight at the end, dude.
Because I thought of that, and I was like, Derek would love this.
Yeah.
Derek suggested not Van Helsing, Underworld.
Lichens, but yeah, close.
Yeah, werewolves.
Yeah.
But I was like, that's not.
That's not the
And I was
vibe.
like, and I'm also not trying to check off vampires at the same time. Like,
And
I want it
also-
to be a werewolf movie.
Well, you could have done Rise of the Lichens.
So then
That's
I
mostly
said-
werewolf focused.
So then I said,
Oops, sorry.
I'd mentioned my mom was like, hey, isn't that movie out right now? Isn't there a wolf movie out? I was like, what are you thinking? Is it The Cabin, the Wolf Man? Showed her the trailer, just bits of it. She said, yeah, that's the one. I was like, that's in January. She goes, cool. Well, let's just delay the werewolf until January. And I was like, it's the first movie.
Hey, start off the new year, start off a new movie list.
I was like, well, if that's the case, because then it goes giant monsters, vampires. Mm-hmm. I was like, if that's the case, Nosferatu comes out on Christmas. She goes, okay, now we're moving too much. I'm like, who's moving too much? Mine's closer.
So funny.
Whatever. So we decided to do an American Werewolf in London. And even since we watched it, Derek's just separately told me, he's like, man, that movie was really good. And I'm like, I didn't expect that. While watching it, I had that separate vision of like trying to watch it through their eyes.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, they're not laughing as loud as I'm laughing. I did warn them. I was like, guys, even though we said we do the scariest, there's not many here. This one's a funnier movie. I laugh at a lot of things. I think the last stinger is fucking hilarious. Mm-hmm. And I tried laughing a little bit more, like
try to get them
purposefully
in,
to get them. Yeah, and it worked a bit, but also Derek just after the fact, like I said, was like, I really like that. Like that movie was really funny. It was really good.
In your mind space, you just went, yes.
Yeah. Right. Well, and it was so funny because at the end, we're doing this for Derek, but we're mostly doing it for Lauren, his girlfriend, because she's the one who's like, I want to try this scary movie thing. Like, let's construct this list of sorts.
Yeah.
I came up with the list, I guess, but give me the.
You had to have a direction.
She said, give me baby steps and show me where to go, and I'm like, I don't know how to do that.
Right.
I don't know what scares you.
Yeah.
I found out. But at the end, she goes, if they're all this easy, this won't be so bad. I was like, that's a comedy.
It's the lowest on the list. We started at the bottom.
Yeah, she said it very knowingly.
So what you do is you go, okay, cool, we'll just jump to number 1 now and just like tear her down, and then we'll go back through the list.
Yeah, we'll what do they call that? Snake draft?
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll snake draft it.
Well, I think snake is like you go to 1 and then you go back down and then you go back up. Not
well,
bounce.
Right, but if it was bouncing, I'm saying like that's the closest thing. There's not.
Yeah, I guess that's
that
probably
doesn't exist,
there's
right?
probably not a thing.
That would be way too complex.
Yeah.
Middle goes last.
So that's good. I'm glad people liked it then.
Yeah, so got my heart, of course. Then Colin wanted to have a movie night. We hopped on. Mm-hmm. We just couldn't really find anything. We were just very like, he had just watched, I think, 41 movies during October. And I was also just like, there's so much horror stuff all the time, like whatever we want. So he found The Roaring Twenties, which is a movie that from 1939 that he loves.
Okay.
It's kind of noir. It's not 100% because it's funny too, but it's a noir. We filed it under such, and we're like, sure, we'll call this Noirvember to start it off. And he liked that movie so much he couldn't find a GIF for a particular scene that he really liked, that he like went and made the GIF. Like he's like, I love this. I want this thing to exist. And they just put it on Criterion, like probably like 3 or 4 months ago, but it's on Criterion now. But I watched it and it was just a blast. And I was like, wow, I love this movie. Like, I wish I could double heart it. I'm like, this was really good. I didn't know that was the flavor I wanted at the time. I didn't know that I would be so into that movie, but something about what's the storytelling arc of that movie, we just don't have much anymore, which is very much like a, what do they call it? Like an Odyssey of sorts, like a Homer, like a saga.
Oh, okay.
There's like, this is this man's life. I'm watching his whole life after war. He gets home from war, and then what? And
we did a Megalopolis.
Takes me,
which is a fable.
A fable. I forgot about the fable.
Yes.
I did.
We go through a whole life there.
I did, and I loved that movie. It was a ton of fun. Actually, I wouldn't recommend it to anybody, but it was a fun watch. But that one was way too self-serious.
Yes. This
one was hilarious, even though what's that?
What's that? Dude, what an experience.
So good.
Shia LaBeouf, are you going to stick with Noirvember then?
Well, that was on the 3rd. It's been 9 days and I haven't continued.
Oh, okay.
Been busy doing other things, but Colin continued and has been watching some good stuff. And I was thinking, there's some things I can mix for sure. Like I really want to watch Night of the Hunter again.
Have you watched Brick?
No.
I think that would be a great Noirvember movie.
Brick.
With the Ryan Johnson.
Movie?
It is a newer movie.
Yeah, okay. I was
it's a noir story set in high school. It's like instead of going to like the prostitute stripper to get information, they go to the theater club. Instead of having the guy in the chair, they go to the kid in the library. Instead of who they doing business with, who they eating lunch with these days. It's like they just took all the terms and shifted it into high school.
That's really fun.
It's very good.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd give that a go. Let's see.
Yeah. You know, he's in with the principal instead of his chief. He's like, hey, what's going on? Why are you doing this? And he's just like, well, you know, this is I've got to do it my way. I've got to figure. He has the whole scene, but with the principal. It's just like really.
I like something
cool.
hammy like that.
Yeah,
It sounds fun. That might be a good way to end it.
Yeah.
Because you're getting the real ones before you know.
And I think it's done in a real way. It's not like funny, but it's just they just transition.
Just on that idea, it's funny because before we came up with an official list of everything, my mom and subsequently everybody after she suggested it, they agreed that it should be done. They suggested that for easing Lauren in, her first movie should be Scream. And I was like, I can't tell you how terrible of an idea that is.
Yeah.
Like she won't get it. Like there just won't be and they're like, yeah, I guess you're right. But they kept bringing it up for like a month. I said, seriously, like I get that she should watch this movie. She really should.
Totally.
But it is, if you had to pick any of the, on a timeline of 30 movies, where's the worst spot you could put it? Number 1.
Yeah.
Number 2 is just one worse.
Yeah.
Or one less worse.
As you get closer to, out of 30, if you get closer to 15, it just gets less and less worse, but still pretty bad.
Yeah.
15, 16, I finally go, okay, maybe.
Depending on the first 15.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like,
that's so weird.
But, I mean, I don't know where I don't think it's going to make it on this list because I don't think it is the scariest of anything, which is kind of this is their goal. They want the scariest of everything. And I'm not obviously doing that objectively because I did a literal comedy.
Right, yeah.
I was like, this guy did Animal House. Let's put this on.
What would be the scariest werewolf movie, though? Like, I wouldn't even
I would have automatically said that The Howling or Dog Soldiers or Ginger Snaps, that they're just like objectively scarier because there's no levity.
Ginger Snaps. Yeah, I like Ginger Snaps a lot. I forgot that one.
Yeah.
That one's a great one.
When I said, I was like, well, and if we're thinking funny, and I was like, originally they're like, well, if we can put vampires and werewolves together in Underworld, maybe we can knock out a few at once. I was like, great, let's put on Trick or Treat.
Yeah.
Let's just start machine gunning these genres at the bottom.
You want to do a bunch of genres in one.
Yeah, I was like, we'll have to come back to giant monsters because that doesn't really wrap in with vampires too much.
I'm trying to think.
Do you have a suggestion for giant monsters? Because I haven't thought of one. My mom was like, let's watch Cloverfield. I love that movie. And I was like, you loved Cloverfield? And Jim, oh, I love that. Derek was like, I've seen that one. That one was great. And I said, you guys are clearly not thinking Cloverfield. And they're like, yeah, with the aliens, right? I'm like, it has aliens. Kind of alien, but aliens.
Well, they got the little ones that fall off the big one.
Yeah, and then alien, right at the end. And I was like, there it is. You're thinking John Goodman, aren't you? She's like, oh yeah, dude, I love that. I was like, I also love that movie. But we need to scrap that idea because that's not Cloverfield.
No.
Where's the giant monster in that movie? Like it's kind of there at the end, but they get more giant. And
I don't even think the monster's in that one, right? It's just the ship. I thought it was a ship.
Doesn't she
end.
get like tentacled by a monster? Like her thing gets all wrapped up. I'm pretty sure there's a monster in that.
Maybe
one.
there is.
Like in the field that like comes over to her.
Well,
could have been a ship, but
if you're like giant monster, what's the scariest movie with a giant monster? The problem is the giant monster's not the scary part, but it has giant monsters.
I mentioned that to them about zombies too. I was like, we could do Night of the Living Dead because I bet you no one's seen. Well, not nobody, but I don't think Lauren or Derek have seen that movie. And I was like, or we could do Return of the Living Dead because I think that movie's a blast and I love it and I'd love to show that to everyone. But I was like, really? I should fucking do 28 Weeks Later or something. And
not zombies, but yeah.
I know. But her peak scary zombie movie was World War Z. She said that was like nightmare fuel scary. And I said, shut the fuck up. I was like,
wow.
I was like, you couldn't even see. It's a PG-13. You couldn't see the zombies, whatever. Even Derek was like, I think he said something like, I don't understand you. You think Alien is less scary? Like any of the aliens, all of them. You think they're less scary than World War Z? How is that possible?
It's crazy.
Yeah. So the scale is all over the place, but
okay. Because in my head, when I think of giant monsters in movies, a lot of them are cheesy. or done in a way that is fun. Like even the host.
Any of the Godzillas.
Godzilla.
The host was what I
is
suggested.
spooky, but it's also done in a fun, like the monster's kind of funny.
I thought
It's
the
like
host
funny.
was nice because it was also a foreign movie, so it might be kind of like cracking the
Yes.
door. Cracking.
That's also, I go in my head, Underwater is technically got a giant monster, but that's not the focus of the scares throughout.
Oh, that would be a good choice.
It's really good, though.
That's a good choice.
And then I also thought The Mist.
because she likes Alien,
oh, she likes it.
which
Underwater
I'm
is
like,
great.
well, that's I'm just thinking more reasons why.
Yeah. 'Cause-
And it's a newer movie where kind of jumping around timelines
Yeah.
a bit would be nice. So it's not just here's everything from the 70s and 80s. It didn't get better, which isn't true.
Because I immediately went to The Mist, where they've got the big walker thing in the background, but it's like at that point you've been through not the
And
worst
the
horror of that
giant
movie.
monsters is like that's a big bug.
Yes, and I guess there is the tentacle that grabs the guy out of the garage at the beginning, but you don't really you don't really know what it
No,
is. I don't think
no.
it's a big monster movie.
And also that movie's long and it wouldn't be the right call.
No,
for
but I
anything
think
but
Underwater might be.
Underwater.
Like I said,
Did you have another one though? It sounded like you had one queued up. It sounded like you were about to say something.
well, it's again.
I did say I was like, we can watch the original Cloverfield, but some of you might get motion sickness.
I do
I was
really-
like, you might not like this movie. Not many people took to this movie.
I really like that movie.
yeah.
I like it.
but we love found footage.
That's true. That is true. Because I was also
which I did put for. I forget what the genre was. It might have been haunted house. Is that right? No, found footage is a genre. That's right, found footage.
Found
I was
footage?
thinking we're gonna do Hell House.
okay.
Because Derek he's like the scariest one, easy as above, so below, is his scariest. And I was
That's
like,
really good.
I was like, I do really love that movie. I've watched
Sounds
it
good.
a lot, so I was like, you're not wrong. But if he's already seen it, Lauren hasn't, almost certainly. So we could get her in on the joke. But
Yeah, I was wondering
Hell
if
House is like that kind of scary that gets everybody.
What
the
if-
clowns,
dipping
the
into
cult.
other things, I was wondering if for zombies, if it's kind of stretching zombies, but Quarantine, I think is a real creepy movie.
Yeah, I do. Well, it's funny because I loved that movie.
Yeah.
And I saw it in theaters. You're going to love this. My aunt came to visit. Aunt
Okay.
Mel, and I was like, I know.
Yep.
My Aunt Mel came to visit, and I was like, Aunt Mel, you've got to see this movie with me. So I went to the theaters again with her. And it was another one of those things with Aquaman where it was like, I can't tell. There's no reactions. There's just dead. Except at the end, she goes, that movie was so fucking stupid. I hated that movie. And I was like, man, am I crazy? Because, again, when did that movie come out? 6,
Long
5?
time ago, yeah. Oh
So
my God.
I was younger. I was young enough and also not confident in movies in any way.
Right.
I didn't realize at that point I liked them as much as I did, especially scary movies, that I was like, man, maybe I was wrong. So I showed it to my mom and she said the same thing.
Really?
Yeah. And then I don't think I showed that movie I don't think I showed it to anybody else. But I just, in my mind now, I'm like, that movie sucked.
God.
I mean, I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I love
enough
that
to
movie.
be like, you have to go see it, right? To drag someone to the theater
Yeah.
as a 10-year-old or whatever to go see it a second time. I remember I did end up buying the physical
I remember-
for that one. And then I went through and watched Record, the REC, Rec, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, wow, that really was like one for one.
Yeah.
Like it was really
The,
close. I watched the sequel and I didn't take to that one.
No, the sequel's not as good. It's funny because Cloverfield, I almost did the same thing when I went and saw it, and I loved it. And I had a date the following week or whatever, and I was just like, we should go see Cloverfield. Not because I think they should have seen Cloverfield. I just wanted to see it again. And we were going to the movies, and I didn't want to watch anything else. I just wanted to see it again.
Yeah, yeah.
They didn't like it, but I was like, I wasn't
you
there.
did go again.
I did go again. I wasn't there
There's
for that.
only
and I
a
was
couple
like,
movies that I saw this. You need to come with. I did it for Get Out. I've done it for Booksmart. I've done it for Batman versus Superman.
I did it for The Dark Knight.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
I,
went
I
saw-
saw that the once with people, so I didn't need to take it.
I went once, and then me and my friend had a double date, and we're like, what are we doing? I don't know. We're just hanging out at the mall. And I was like, there's a movie theater. And they're like, what could we see? And I was like, well, The Dark Knight. They're like, I don't really like comic book movies. I was like, you don't understand. This isn't like a comic book thing.
Also, that's an interesting thing to say in 2008.
Well,
you know what I mean?
I'm sure it
it's
was
like,
X-Men, Spider-Man, that thing was in her head.
yeah,
and I was just like, that's not
and
what
that
we're
would have
doing.
been it, which now we look back with reverence.
Yeah, yeah.
But also, someone saying that now is like, well, you could have seen one of 40 things.
Yep.
That's interesting.
I also wonder if, because they were going to MSU and they've got the comic book shop across the way, I'm like, maybe they just know someone that's really into comics
Yeah.
and they're like, I don't want to deal with comics.
Hollow Mountain.
Yeah. So I was like, maybe there's something there, but I was like, no, you don't understand. This is a movie.
You know
This is
what
a
the
film.
one in Ann Arbor is called?
In Ann Arbor.
Yeah, the comic store that
No.
way. Vault of Midnight.
Ooh, that's pretty cool.
I just remember being like, damn, that's a cool name.
That's a good
Hollow
name.
Mountain's a good name too. But,
Yeah.
I also took my grandma to go see for this when a second viewing.
Yeah.
Was District 9.
Oh, so good.
And we walked into the theater, and this was a different theater, so the posters were inside. That's not the theater you're thinking. It's where Oriana is now.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
I used to be a GKC and a Carmike. But when we walked in, there was the posters and the showings, all fucking letterboxed up or letterboarded up. Letterboxed. I've never put
Roll
that together. And thin.
Nailed it.
But she was like, "Oh, there's this movie. Like, wouldn't you want to see this one instead?" And it's Gamer.
Okay.
And I was like, I mean, I have seen District 9. She's like, no, let's watch something new. And I was like, District 9's really good. And I was like, you know what, Gamer, Gerard Butler, sure.
Sure. Phantom.
Weird one to watch with my grandma.
Yeah, I
Let me
bet.
fucking tell ya. Which Nana's always been down to watch anything.
Right.
And she came out, she's like, that wasn't so bad.
Yeah.
And I was like, sweating, like, oh my God, are
Going-
you going to tell somebody that we watched this?
Going back to that movie nowadays and watching it is very hard. It is very much a window of time where a lot of people were way okay with way more stuff.
I would love to watch it now.
It's-
I would love to watch it now.
It's got some rough stuff.
I watch a lot of rough stuff
yeah.
all the time. I'd be good.
It's just like in my head, I like think of that. And I go, oh yeah, this was the culture around gaming at this time, and that's not what it is anymore. And I'm so happy it's not.
Is it better or worse?
Well, I feel like my vocal minorities are maybe more vocal now, but it's like this is what outsiders looking in thought of gaming because this is all there was.
Yeah.
Which,
Well, anyway. Those are all the ones I took people to. But yeah, for zombies, that's a good one. I think it would elicit probably the most fear out of her.
that's what I'm thinking. I was
Because
just trying to think of a
closer, it's personal, it is terror focused. It's where do we go? What do we do? We're fucked.
Yeah, they won't let us out of this
That's
building.
why I think 28 weeks, because it's what do they call them in that? Maybe it's just infected, but it's the rage virus, right?
Yeah.
So it's that, but I'm like, these zombies are bullets coming at you.
Yes.
They are insane. And the way that they're filmed is so shaky and so much that I'm like, that shit is scary. But yeah, then I thought, I was like, maybe they want something heartfelt. Maybe Train to Busan. Maybe
Which is also
they
scary.
want- yeah.
but-
Oh, right. Oh, because those zombies are also freaks.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah, so it was very interesting. I was like, maybe Army of the Dead, but that's not scary enough. And I'm trying to think of what are all the different ways zombies have been done. That
Honestly,
peak scary might be record. I mean, if again you're stretching zombie a
Yes.
bit, but they're not themselves, and they get infected.
It is
by bites.
funny, but I think it does have good scare and gore moments. Shaun of the Dead's even not a bad choice.
Yeah, I don't want it to be part of that ranking.
Gotcha.
That separate, because it is just like it is true comedy.
And it's also some of the jokes almost you need to know zombies or be more into zombies to not get all the jokes. Obviously, it's still just funny to watch, but there is a lot of ties to other zombie things to make it really good.
Yeah. I should pull up the list, and we should come up with the movies for him. Or at least get closer, because I'm going into every week blind.
Being like,
So what did I even say? What did we say for Giant Monster that was good?
Underwater.
That's right. Yeah.
Now I just want to rewatch Underwater. That movie is probably one of the top movies that just came out of nowhere. I went, yeah, I'll watch this. And I got done and went, holy fuck, why is no one talking about this movie?
Yeah. Well, mine was kind of like that. Mine was, it came out during COVID.
Right.
That's the major reason. I was excited to go in theaters, and then it just didn't come to theaters.
Yep.
Right. And then it just one day was on HBO Max.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, sure. I was interested in this. I like Kristen Stewart.
Yeah.
And then, the whole family, we watched that one, loved that one. But Derek and Lauren weren't there.
Right.
So they might like, and I don't remember it.
Yeah.
I've only seen it one time, and it was 4 years ago.
Yep.
So
it's so sad because it's one of those movies I look at and I go, man, there's almost like world building here with like the equipment and the suits and the stuff there that I'm like, I almost want more. I don't know what you do more because there's not more to do, but it's like, I just want more of this feeling in movies.
yeah.
The industrial, like giant, like saw thing or what. I was like, where's all that?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Doesn't homies crack right off the rip too? One of the
Oh,
guys.
the suits?
Yeah. Yeah, that's the part I was like, oh, this is serious.
Yeah. Well, he gets to choose who gets the suits, and he gives himself the cracked one.
Yeah.
I also think in my head,
TJ Miller also,
yeah, in my head,
that was like,
I might be wrong because it's been a while since I watched it, but I think it's also one of the few movies where it's like we're all trapped here, and it doesn't cut to a guy betraying everybody, and that's the scare. You know what I mean? It's like I don't think anyone betrays anybody in that movie, so they're all there to work together the entire way.
And it's, I would say, arguably not really at all driven by stupid decisions or something. Where it's like, oh, we got to go get Tommy again because he ran away because he thinks his dead wife is alive somewhere.
The only dumb decision is it's like, well, this is how the thing is ran. We have to go walk on the sea floor to get over there. It's just how it is. Like,
yeah, there is no other option.
Yeah. So that's cool.
So that was the Roaring 20s?
I think that's where we went. Yeah, we went.
Noir-vember,
It was a long
deep
way,
into the whatever. I somehow got back to an American Werewolf.
Yep.
I got 4 more, man. What else you got?
I told Bethany, I was like, it's November. Let's try to watch some like end of fall, getting into Christmas movies. We watched Invincible.
Oh,
Very
I did
football.
You list that, yeah.
Very like that, got that feel or whatever. And it was funny because I was watching and I was like, man, I like this movie. It's a great story. And like 3/4 of the way through, she's like, is there ever going to be something happy? Like, is this just a sad story? And I thought about it. I was like, oh, there is like a lot of down through this whole movie. And even the small ups, like in my head is like when he like makes the team, like that's a small up. It feels so small when he fails at his first game.
Yeah.
It's like not until he plays in the mud with his friends does the movie start like peaking back upwards. And I went, oh, there is a lot of down in this movie. I never felt like that.
I've only seen it once and a half because we watched it here at the store once, but I didn't ever feel that.
But then at the end, she's like, oh, it paid off in the end. It was worth it. But I was like, oh, I didn't think I was putting on a downer movie for 90% of it, but I guess it kind of is.
Hey, sometimes those happen.
Yeah.
It's
still like
it's rainy this November.
Yep. Great. Tons of fun.
What was it? I think we just talked about how
I had tons of fun because I know where it's going. And also, every once in a while she'll be like, I'll talk football or something or this and that, and she'll be like, go Birds. I'm like, yeah, that's right, perfect, go Birds. Yeah. And so I'm like trying to get her also into Eagles a little bit. Like, so if something happens where they get to the Super Bowl or
is Vince still playing?
Now she read the thing at the end. He played for 3 seasons. Everybody's good. Yeah. But it's just like things like that. Like I want her to have some sort of attachment, so when it gets to maybe and the end of the season, we can get a little bit more hype behind it. Where right now she goes, "Oh, football," and then walks out of the room.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
If there is an end of the season,
yeah, the season's not
whatever.
Yeah.
I won my Super Bowl. You know what I mean? I checked the list.
That's how I became a fan.
Yeah. Which is a weird time to become a fan, but I get it.
Yeah.
This is the bet you made.
Bet I made. All right. What you got next?
Went down and visited Mia.
Yep.
We watched scary movies when we were there.
Okay.
Last ones we watched were Blair Witch and Slaughterhouse.
Okay.
Before that, we watched The Ritual, the visit before. So she likes scary movies. We watch scary movies.
Yep.
Scrolling through stuff. She just casually mentioned she's never seen Scream.
What?
And Shay's like, okay, so we're putting on Scream then. I was like, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we just watched Scream.
Great.
Got my heart.
Of course.
I haven't logged it before, so I'd be like, no, I've seen this before. Like, let me make sure everyone knows. Like, this isn't okay.
My first time, guys. I swear.
Yeah. I think it was Shay. God, was it Shay who said it? Who was like, oh, they got Scream 5 on here. I said, why does that matter? She hasn't seen any of the others. And turns out they were all on there. Every Scream was on there, but I imagine if you type in Scream, you get Scream 2, 3, 4, 6. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because who knows how they have it titled.
Yep.
But yeah, at the end, Mia liked it enough. She's like, oh, I'll watch the rest. Are the rest good? And I said, you should just watch the rest.
3 of them are.
Yeah, 3 of the others. Yeah. Then on the 8th, we talked about the Mothman on the way up.
Okay.
On the way back from the Detroit
gotcha.
area. And Shay I'd mentioned the Mothman prophecies, and Shay had said she'd never seen it. And I said, well, cool, we'll just put it on when we get home then. That's what we did. We unpacked, we whatever, showered,
Richard
cleaned
Gere,
up.
right?
Yep.
Yeah, okay.
and we put on the Mothman prophecies. I liked it. I was like, yeah. I had to ask her. I was like, what's the actual Mothman story? Because I don't know. I know the West Virginia of it all. That's all I know, and I know like roughly the year. And she gave me the story, and I was like, oh, okay, that's kind of this movie. Like, yeah,
okay.
It's just completely displaced in time. It's 40 years later, but it's the same story.
And I know that the movie is very different from the book Mothman Prophecies. I never read the book, but I know they're very different.
Well, I'd imagine that it's probably about the actual kind of, because it's the same story. It's just this one takes place in modern day. Well, 2002, or whatever, but modern day at the time. After Scream and Mothman, Shay said she wanted a rom-com, so she put on Trainwreck. Trainwreck with Amy Schumer and Bill Hader, and he's a sports doctor, like a physical therapist sort of thing, except he does surgeries on knees.
Okay.
So the movie has LeBron James in it.
Gotcha.
So it's got like other athletes in it.
Right.
Rom-com, better than I expected, but it wasn't great, but I put the heart on because I would watch it again.
Okay, cool.
So fun enough. And then I guess it was 2 days ago now, we watched The Substance.
Duh. I saw a scene from that.
Which one?
It might be the ending.
Yeah,
I don't
sure.
even know. But like the deformed thing, and the camera pulls out of the mirror and shows the face on the back of whatever deformed thing. And I went, oh, I had no idea that this is what this movie was.
I knew it was a body horror movie just because of people talking. There's, body horror of the year, whatever. And I'm like, well, that's very specific.
Yeah.
And I also had a general, because I'd seen the trailer. So, however many months ago, I had a general idea that it was, inject this, become young. Body horror will ensue. I don't know what to say about the movie.
Oh, okay.
Because I think I've seen so many people put movie of the year stamp on it. And I'm like, I think you might have just liked the message. Mm-hmm. But the message, I could give it the same, I guess, critique, if that's what I want to use, as I would for like Barbie.
Okay.
Which is like, yeah, this is a good message. I mean, I wouldn't give it the deepest message in the world. It didn't really make me think too much. Right. It was like, yeah, you're 60. Don't try to become 20. Done.
Very easy.
Yeah.
Simple.
There's a secondary message in there because young her ends up kind of sabotaging old her. Mm-hmm. So it's also like, don't as a young person sabotage your older self by just caution to the wind and not caring about anything, and it will catch up to you. There's secondary messages in there too, but it's so funny the way people are talking about this movie so critically, like, we should be talking Oscars, we should be talking whatever, like that kind of talk. Okay. And here's all the references to The Shining, and I was like, as soon as people start saying something's like The Shining, I roll my fucking eyes, because the last movie someone told me was like The Shining. Do you remember?
Oh, Batman.
Fucking Batman. And I was like, dude, the thumb drive.
Sorry, the Batman.
The thumb drive joke. I said, shut the fuck up. This movie's is like The Shining. Like, stop.
What are you showing me?
What are you showing me? El Ratalata. You know what? Again, watching this movie, I might laugh at it now, but they sold me a serious movie.
Yes.
And people said it's a 98% around Tomatoes. It's like The Shining. This one, it had 1-to-1 shots of The Shining, but not his head through the door. With Terrifier 3, there's a scene where he's cutting through a door and he puts his head through and does like, ah.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's an over-the-top reference for an over-the-top movie. Cool. These ones were like, there's this carpet has a pattern. It's not the pattern, but here's a carpet with a pattern. This bathroom is red. Like the walls are red.
Okay.
And I was like, oh, like The Shining. Yeah, like that's like a super tertiary reference. There's a shot of her banging on the bathroom door where the shot is like right underneath, like he was like in the freezer. And I was like, oh, this is great. These are like touchstone things, like just, homages, really soft.
I got confused when you said the bathroom was red. I was like, wasn't the bathroom green? But I'm thinking the bathroom with the old lady. Not
right. You're thinking the 237.
Yes.
Bathroom.
I was like, man, I really don't remember it being red.
The Delbert Grady. You've always been the caretaker.
Yeah, the urinal bathroom.
Yeah.
Yep.
That bathroom. And the major bathroom where like the poster takes place is not a red bathroom. It's just in one spot that it's red. And I was like, oh, this is great. But right off the rip, I was like, these characters are acting way over the top on purpose. They're really good. They're using every shot is super close and super ultra wide, like damn near fisheye
Okay.
on a lot of the shots. And I was like, I don't think a lot of people taking a lot of serious shit away from this movie. I think they might be stretching a bit. It kind of hits a wave of more seriousness in the middle, but then the end, starting with what you saw, I heard somebody once say that the ending gets bonkers.
Okay.
And I was like, okay, to that, bonkers might mean, just the body horror gets crazy.
Yeah.
But I was like, oh no, I am laughing at the end of this movie. This
Just 'cause
is
it's so
crazy. It is like
absurd.
if we just watched a trailer for Street Trash.
Yes.
It was like that.
Oh, okay.
Where I was like, this is crazy. This is Henenlotter. This is 40, 50,000 gallons of blood being used. This is just visual things. I'm like, I'm laughing at the last shot of this movie.
Went.
And I was like, there's a lot of people taking away, like there's a message here, but you telling me this ending should get an Oscar for what you're thinking? Like, you should watch more stuff, is my thought. And the message was soft and good, but it was well directed. It was very well acted. It was like all the right things, but it was the review. I ended up watching a couple video essays. I was like, I know there are people who've done them. They're on my sub feed. I just hadn't seen the movie yet.
Right.
So I went back and watched them. And they had a lot of good shit to say too, but they were just like, if you want body horror, you're better with The Fly. If you want hagsploitation is what it's called in a way. But, if you want old woman horror done right, go look to Whatever Happened to Baby Jane from like the 60s or whatever.
Right.
It was a lot of just like, this is a good amalgamation of things, but I don't know where it shouldn't be the 5-star kind of thing people are putting on it. And it's like putting too much pressure on the movie. It's not its fault.
Yeah.
It was like, I think this is her third feature ever and the first one in English.
Okay.
And I saw the one before, actually. Just I had no idea they were connected. It was a R&R movie, a revenge movie.
Okay.
And the movie's called Revenge.
Hey, look at that.
And it was great. And it was wicked bloody, and I don't want to say funny, but it was like comically bloody towards the end, where I was like, I'm so happy for you. I can laugh now because the levity's coming.
Almost like the Evil Dead ending, the remake, where it's just like raining blood, the chainsaw. It's just like,
this one was like, if you told me this was physically possible, I'd believe it. In Revenge, I'd be like, there's enough blood in the body. I guess it could get over all these walls. In substance, it's like, no. This is End of Evil Dead. This is, if you told me that they used 40,000, 50,000 gallons of blood for this scene, I'd be like, oh, yeah, that makes good sense.
Gotcha.
So it feels unfair because I gave it a heart. I liked this movie, but I've seen it for Halloween costumes. I've seen it for all these things, and I was like, man, I'm really happy something is breaking through. It's kind of like the Barbie thing where it's like, I'm not feeling profoundly moved by this message, and everyone's giving this a 10 out of 10. I mean, maybe it's more like an 8 because I think it was really great. I'm really happy it made it to people's mainstream like Barbie, but also for horror at all, to have something so grotesque and over the top make it to them and have them like it is good. But I think that overselling of it made me think less of it while watching it.
Okay.
I don't know if you've heard much of it at all.
No,
I mean, now
like
you
I
have
said,
for
I saw
me,
the scene.
kind of, but
I saw the scene, and I've heard people mention it, and I go, I don't know anything about it. I'll come back eventually or whatever. And
the fact that I was getting it not, because I'm subscribed to every Fangoria. I got all the editors in chiefs, the Bloody Disgustings, the whatever. I'm seeing it win awards just like I'm seeing other short films and other things. But when MTG content creators are talking to me on Twitter about the substance, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just something different.
Makes sense. I was just making sure everything went through.
Because you just got the notification?
Yeah. I just was like, that's kind of weird. So that's all the movies you saw?
Yeah.
Cool.
Which, I mean, isn't as much as I'd like, but not bad for over 2 weeks.
Yeah.
It's like a normal, probably more than still the normal human amount, I guess.
Probably.
I don't know. Netflix has changed a lot of things. People watch a lot of movies like passively. I guess I did also watch like a season and a half of Gossip Girl.
There you go.
Which was again, it's one of those snapshots of time.
Yeah.
I'm like, damn, like there's a lot of debauchery in this show for them continuously telling me that they just had their 17th birthday. Or
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, she is on a stage stripping in burlesque. You just told me she's a kid. This is a TV show. What are we
doing?
Why it could have been college.
Yeah.
They're dealing with like political intrigue things. Just put them in college. It's kind of like Riverdale. Just like flash them forward 5 years. Put them in prison.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, they do, and then that's when it gets
Gossip
bad.
Girl got remade and or continued. I don't know, because some of the characters
picked
come
up?
back. Yeah,
Okay.
in 21, with a whole new cast and a whole new whatever. But like, I'm sure there's cameos because I saw people double credited as things.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's flashbacks or what. But I'm like, I'm sure there was a lot of things fixed. But everyone's got the flip phones and they're saying and doing things. I'm like, man, some things just don't age well. You know what I mean? Especially when it's about super rich New York teens. I'm like, wow, there's a lot of coke.
Oh, yeah.
There's a lot of things. I'm like, this was on ABC Family or whatever before it was Freeform.
Yeah.
You know, that's crazy.
Whoo! What up, Tron? We need more characters that are older with bad knees and bad backs. Less teenage kids.
You should watch The Substance.
There you go.
You should watch The Substance because there is a particular scene with a bad knee that had Shay looking away.
Ooh.
And a lot of the movie has to do with extracting spinal fluid. So you'll love seeing a bad back come through.
Yeah, that's bad back to the nth degree. Trying to see. Oh, here we go. Perfect.
You know, I've been trying to think. What's that? Oh,
I have something to ask you about.
I have it pulled up here.
Oh, do you? The Blair Witch?
Yeah. I was like, I've seen that photo. I have just this, not the photos or anything.
I was
but
going
just
to
this.
ask.
But before that.
Oh, okay.
Because Friday's coming around.
Friday.
And speaking of bad backs,
This Friday?
this Friday.
Which? Oh, okay. I was like, I didn't realize. You know when that goes live? Sorry, we're talking about.
Wait, I know
Yeah, sorry.
you didn't get there, but
I found out this morning. I went, what? The Mike Tyson Jake Paul fight is happening on Netflix this Friday.
oh, this could be great news for me. When does it go live?
11 o'clock at night is when their ring walk is supposed to start.
That's great.
That's so. I'm like, I might be asleep.
That's so late, but have you ever watched a pay-per-view sport?
Pay-per-view
Just
sport.
anything. I mean, this is not pay-per-view, even though it should have been, but Netflix, I imagine, is paying so much money to have this.
I don't think so, unless I was at somewhere that I got invited to and they were doing that in addition to
because
party.
I'm going to say, for me, it's the way back. I wasn't doing it. I was 7,
Tron says, I hope Tyson knocks him the F out. You
can curse on yours, Tron.
I'm two ways of it, Tron. I want it to be over quick, Mike Tyson just showing how Mike Tyson does, or he gets hit once and we see the fear in his eyes when he realizes how hard he gets hit.
You did say that. You want to see Jake
I almost
Paul
want to
scared.
see the fear, and I go, oh, now he knows.
Yeah, I want in 4K and Netflix 4K.
He's got Imaginathan on him.
You got Mad Nathan.
It's so good. Anyway.
First punch TKO. Yeah, I mean, that's never. I don't think that's ever cool. First punch TKO. I mean, it's happened before.
Yeah.
And I've never cared to, It's just watching those top 10. What are the top 10 fastest boxing matches ever?
Yeah.
And
That's great for
the
a
fastest
compilation.
one ever, a guy where he got paid whether he won or lost. So he just, as soon as the bell rang, he just left the ring. He steps out of the ropes and just leaves.
That's so funny.
Yeah, he's like, my contract. He was supposed to fight somebody different.
Oh.
And then the day of, it got canceled, switched, changed, and he was fighting like a fucking monster. And he's like, fuck that, dude. I'm just walking out. That wasn't my contract. Anyway, I think George Foreman has the fastest before that, where they run at each other and he hits him once and knocks him out.
Because before we watched Invincible, we were thinking about watching The Fighter instead. And I showed her the trailer, and there's that part where he's in the ring, and the guy takes off. Goes like, "What's this guy's got 60 pounds on me? What are we doing? Come on, Mickey." It was like that same thing. It's like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
But anyway, Tyson fight this week, Friday. Bad back.
Yeah, well, my back is broken. I broke my back. That's what made me think of it. I swear to God. I was going to quote it, but I was just wondering, because we were going to do a family meal, giant monster. And then I was trying to pitch to them we could do this, but I didn't know when it was.
That
I
is
didn't
a
look at
giant
anything.
monster.
Double feature.
Double feature.
Double feature. Yeah, Jake Paul's pretty big. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, that's who you were talking about.
Yeah,
for
totally.
Sure. Yeah, but I was thinking we could could get together and watch it. We moved family night to Friday this night for because Saturday's busy for some other reason. I don't remember, something with Jim. And Mia's actually coming up to visit.
Okay.
So that's why we're like, well, we'll do something Friday. We were gonna go see Heretic, but fucking plans, dude. People might be late. Dinner might not show. The movie starts at 9:55 or 7:15. And everyone's gonna miss the 7:15, but not gonna want to stay up for the 9:55. I'm like, all right, I'll go some other time.
Yeah.
So then I said we could just do the Giant Monster, or we could do Mike Tyson.
Yeah. I saw 11
You want to
o'clock.
do it at 11?
I saw 11. I went, oh my God, I don't.
Oh, that's what I was gonna. They've always been that late.
Really?
As someone who, as a child, pay-per-viewed multiple times a year just for boxing matches that I didn't care about or whatever. For those who don't know, my dad was a professional boxer for a short time, so we watched a lot of boxing. I saw all the classics. It was, you're going to watch this and learn the history of my favorite sport. But then it was also, anytime something came up ever, we were at Jimmy the Gimp's house.
There it is.
We were at Jimmy the Gimp's house watching pay-per-view. So that's where it's like, I mean, I didn't do it. But the reason it was an event is because we would go over for dinner, and that bitch would start at 11 p.m.
Well, they do have
and it was like, what am I? I'm a child.
They have
what am I doing
preliminary
here?
fights or whatever that start at like 7 or whatever.
Sure.
But still, I'm like, 9 o'clock is a perfect time to start this fight.
No, they because this was a very different time. Obviously, they would all just smoke indoors and play poker while I'm just sitting on the couch.
Well,
and we didn't have a fucking Nintendo.
Right,
you know what I mean?
yeah.
I'm just, what am I doing?
The thing was too, they say it's gonna, because it's all CT times, but essentially the plan is to start the ring walk around 10 o'clock. But that means like if anything goes long,
They're 10, our 11.
Our 10, yeah, they're 10, our 11. That means if anything goes long, it's gonna go past that time, and that's just the ring walk, let alone the actual fight. It's like, holy crap!
I remember going to a boxing match here at the Grand Traverse Resort. That was like one of those. It was a statewide thing, and my dad was the main event. And we were there. His didn't start till after midnight because of how long it got pushed, and then he won first round. And I remember being so fucking disappointed. I was like, God damn it! I'm so like, go you. Fuck. I really wanted to sit and watch this.
I read that this morning at the gym, and I was like, oh my God, it was 10:03. I looked at my phone after finishing an episode of One Piece, and I was like, I could barely keep my eyes open through that episode last night. And I'm like, do you want me to start at 11 o'clock come Friday? I don't know if I got it in me.
Asterisk. We're talking about it. Shay goes, can't you just watch it on YouTube the next day? And I go, I could.
Yeah, it's not the same.
But I'm not watching it with Derek, with Jim. They want to see this. Don't you want to see Jake Paul get knocked out? She goes, yeah.
It's so funny because what's going to happen is we're going to stay and do all that to probably see a pretty quick fight.
Okay.
It's just funny.
Well, and if family night goes until we start the movie at 8 or 9 anyway, and then we watch a 2-hour movie, I'm okay, we're done with the movie. Switch it over to Netflix.
Yep. Let's get into the Blair Witch because I was really excited about it.
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry. What did you want to say about the Blair Witch? You wanted an opinion?
Well, multiple things. One, I didn't even know that this was a thing.
Yeah.
That the transfer footage that we've been watching forever has been messed with or wrong.
Oh, true. I didn't know that. I knew this was a thing for a long time. It just released.
Right. I saw it. Oh, you have add to cart. When I clicked on it, it said sold out. That was weird.
Well,
I checked yesterday, but
where'd you go?
To the second site.
Oh, you did?
Or whatever, yeah.
Oh.
I wonder if it went on sale today. I wonder if it was a time zone thing because it's region B.
Well, I know. That's why I haven't bought it. It would have been fucking wrapped in your Christmas stocking already.
Well, what I was wondering is, does your Plex, can you get region B on your Plex still play?
I haven't tried, but I think my player is region locked.
Okay.
I think every player is region locked, but
I thought they did away with region locking
my
on a Blu-ray player. I thought DVD players were region locked, but once they got to Blu-rays, it was region free. Or all you have to do is switch them to region 0.
I've never had a region B disc to try. And remember, I had to fuck with my shit pretty hard because it's a Blu-ray player, but I had to fake its programming and lie so it can read 4K. I imagine it could, but
I don't know because you have my movies. There is a box set of the original Mighty Morphin Power Ranger series that was a Region B because it was the only way I could buy it. And I had to get also a Region 0 DVD player to play it.
I've been doing Plex. I actually did a lot of Plex stuff today. I've been adding movies. I think I added 10 movies in the last couple of days. But I've been really trying to get into my settings because I'm like, why isn't this working? Like, what is happening? I didn't change any one thing that I was like, oh, I just have to check this box. You know, it was like, let me micro change a lot of settings to see if I can get it to work. And if that doesn't work, I'm going to be chatting with, because Colin it works for, I think. So I don't know. I'll probably have to call you and be like, all right, try it now. Nope. Okay. Then I'll change something, try it now. And I can, when it streams, I have a dashboard that gives me all the
data
live updates, but I would need you to hit play because it'll use my home network. Everything works perfect, instantaneously on my home network. But there's a world where I have to create an optimized version of every movie at one time. Be like, optimize all of them, which is going to make a different file in every file. So it would just be like, you're at 7 terabytes, you're at 15 terabytes now, or 12, or it wouldn't be double, I'm sure. It'll be less.
Still be a lot.
Otherwise, it's not really optimized. It's just the same size. But all the same, I had all my movies sorted in a kind of a hierarchy of like most important to least important. And least important to me were all the collections, because I don't want to have one. It's hard to put in one disc, rip 5 movies, and have to be like parse them out to the different things and update their metadata. It's easy when it's just one movie at a time. But I'm finally doing collections. And once I'm done with Sword and Sorcery, Paranormal Activity, all the movies, a 20-film Hammer collection, and The Last of Us Season 1. Once I'm done with those, I'm done. Woo! I got all the movies organized. I got them all pushed together so they're looking good. And I said, Shay, we're going to have to double this collection at least. And she goes, I think you're right.
Oh, she said, you think you're right? That's great. That's a good. I didn't think it was going that direction.
I was like, man, it really didn't fill this shelf the way I'd hoped. Like, I think we're going to have to double it. And then she said, I think you're right. And I was like, triple it? She goes, hold on. She goes, hold on.
Find the line. Walk right to the line. Call it good.
That's right. Plant my flag and start add to cart.
Yes.
The plan is actually possibly, because we're going downstate to the very bottom of the state for Thanksgiving, that on the way back, might try to plan the on the way back on Friday on purpose to hit up Static Tape if they're doing a crazy Black Friday sale, which I'll know. Otherwise, we'll probably just leave Thanksgiving night. But if that's the case, I'm like, I will be spending every dollar I have.
That's your Black Friday shopping.
And I was like, if it has to dip into what not you, but for Shay, what you're getting me, what my mom's getting me, I'll be sending Venmo requests. I want to load up on stuff that I'm missing. I don't have any Hellraiser movies. A new collection came out. He's got it at the shop. I don't have any of the Friday the 13th except the remake. I want the full collection. I'm just like, I'm going to check the list. I'm going to do it all. So
that's awesome.
Very excited. But with that, I had the thought this morning of, I think I'm going to alphabetize all your movies. I'm going to pull out everything I already have. That goes into a separate tote because that's clearly yours.
Yep.
And then I would just go through all the movies and be like, which ones are yours and can I have any of these?
Gotcha.
Because I've recently realized this only after Colin has visited from New York, and he goes, again, the Plex works perfectly for him.
Right, yeah.
So he's like, this is a dream come true. I don't have to put a disc in. I can just watch whatever Jake has. He brings a stack of movies and goes, let's put these on the Plex. And I go, that's great. He's done that twice now. The first one, he did it with just one movie because he wasn't on Plex. He just knew what it was. And I showed it to him, and we put the movie on and then watched it on Plex, and he's like, hold the phone. So then he, goes home, tries it, loves it. The first one was Skate Town, USA. If you haven't watched Skate Town, USA, man, I'm telling you, get high, watch Skate Town, USA.
I saw it because I went through your Plex thinking maybe he's got Transformers, and I wanted to watch Transformers. You did it.
I do not. I was
like, damn.
One, because I'm mostly horror right now. I'm ready to extend that here soon, but mostly horror right now. And two, no.
Yeah.
Not Transformers.
So I was like, damn, but I saw the S's and the T's.
I love your thought.
It's like, man, there's not a lot of T's and there's no Transformers.
Skate Town?
I did see Skate Town.
So Skate Town, great movie.
Yeah.
Written by Nick Castle, who played the Shape in Halloween.
Oh, very cool.
Which he told me that. I was like, hey, just hit play.
Just hit play.
Swayze's first movie, hit play. I'll do it.
I have another thing, but go on. Swayze reminded me I had this thought this morning.
Oh, what was it?
Well, like, Patrick Swayze fortunately passed.
Yeah.
Keanu Reeves had that, like, rejuvenation where he started being in more things or doing more things again, like kind of like the John Wick, yada, yada. And in my head, I was like, if Swayze was still alive, would we have gotten, like, a Point Break sequel, age sequel, where Swayze doesn't die in the end? And would they brought it back? Because you think they remade it, didn't do anything. They remade it also with Cars, and it got 9 sequels. So, like, in my head, I'm like, at this point, Keanu Reeves, if Swayze was still around and still wanted to do something, an age sequel for Point Break would have been really cool to see. Get the crew back together or whatever.
They would have.
They probably wouldn't have.
No, I think they would have.
You would have?
I think for the nostalgia bait of everything. I think we're in that era of just like, let's remake anything we can. And everyone would say, oh, Keanu's hot. Can we remake? I mean, but has he remade anything? Have they been like, well, Sandra's alive. Let's do Speed again. I mean, they got other Speeds, but you know what I'm saying?
They did a new Matrix.
Yeah.
So
That's true. That's true. I think that was with or without Keanu. It sounded like it's going to happen with or without.
Speed is also interesting. I didn't think about Speed.
He's in Chain Reaction, right? Like Morgan Freeman's alive.
Yeah.
Like I'm just throwing out stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. Like I don't know what.
But we're getting Constantine. We're getting a sequel to Constantine.
Sequel. But that movie was in the aughts, and who knows what's his name? Peter Stormare, right? He was saying, is he coming back? Whatever. He's alive. He's doing shit.
Yeah, I don't
He's
know.
playing evil bad guys.
I think Keanu's coming back.
Maybe.
Does Shia LaBeouf come back?
So Skate Town.
Okay, go on.
It's a great movie. He got it. We put it on the Plex.
Yep.
And I said, I really want to give this movie money. 1, I was high. 2, the movie was so much fun.
Yeah.
I bought it on Amazon immediately, just put it on the shelf. It's already on the Plex. He comes with the second wave of movies, which are random noirs he likes. That he's like, I found this disc at some place and they don't print it anymore. That kind of movie.
Yeah.
And then I think he brought 4K Dracula, Bram Stoker's Dracula. He brought Dragonheart too. He's like, I bought this shit. I love this shit. Let's put this shit on there.
Yeah.
And I said, it's great. So I put it on there and I was like, yeah, let's do it. It's all on there. I ended up watching Dracula with Shay. It was all great. But it put a feeling in me that I was like, I started this Plex to put my movies on here to share with people, and I'm putting not my movies on here. Mm-hmm. I didn't do that with the library. I didn't do that with any of your movies yet at that point. And I was like, I don't like this feeling. Something about this is wrong. So my mind, I was like, I'm either going to buy these movies that I have on my Plex now, or I'm going to just delete them.
Whoa.
Because he has the disc. I didn't pull it from the disc.
That's weird, yeah.
But I was just like, I want this. I've had times where I'm at Harrison's and Muskegon, Static Tape.
Okay.
And I'm like, do I own this movie? How can I check? I don't have a photo of everything. I do have an app now to scan things. But which version do I have? Is it in 4K? I can just check my Plex. What quality is it in? That's all I need to do.
You could also just make a note on your Plex, like these are the ones I own and these are the ones that are at
I mean, I could start making collections and stuff too, but also I could just have it be my own fucking movies.
You could.
Because nobody's using it but Colin anyway.
Well, if it worked,
Nick
and
Justin use it sometimes.
Yeah.
And Rob.
Yeah.
But I haven't seen much action on there in a long time. I don't know what people are watching when they're watching it. It's like I have to say, go watch Ninja 3 on my Plex. Mm-hmm. And then they'll go do it. And then it works for Nick and Justin too, but they don't watch as much stuff.
I mean, I check.
But Justin he watched Friday the 13th remake off my Plex.
I check
like
for
a week ago, 2 weeks ago.
I check a lot of times to see if you have it, and usually you don't because it's not a horror thing. I'm just like, oh, did he? I think I own this. Did he put it on? No, okay. Or I press play on something and it doesn't work, so I don't finish it. So like Terrifier, Van Helsing, Bodies, like those are 3 ones that I clicked on, got 15 minutes in and went, oh, this doesn't work, and got off.
Yeah.
So, but it's like I'm there all the time checking, but it just doesn't work for me.
Yeah. Well, like I said, tweak some settings. I want it to be that kind of priority thing again, and that's why I'm working through the movies, and I'm like, I'm really close. I'm just a few boxes away from done. Mm-hmm. That I was like, well, Brent's movies are next, but are they? And I had that thought again. I was like, I haven't had to face this in my mind yet, so I'll have to have you decide like. What are yours to, and at any point too, like the movies I actually own, I don't know, Jennifer's Body. If somehow it was like, oh no, that one is actually mine, can I have it back? I'd be like, yeah, sure. I can just buy it later to refill it. So if there's ever anything that's like, oh, you can take it back, like what's mine is yours in that way, that I'm not too precious on too much unless
Right.
I'm like, no, I need this.
I think there's like
Then I could just buy it as a gift for you, or buy, we could trade copies.
In
I guess
in
or
my
something,
mind, I'm
but-
thinking of just the movies that I have that I'm like, well, he probably doesn't care to own this on his shelf, but there might become a time where he wants to watch it for whatever reason. Just like the random off the wall, like
Well,
Brick's in there. It's
well,
a DVD. It's on there.
so
Like maybe you don't want to own
even,
it, but
even Brick was. I had that thought because I looked just now to see where it was. It's not playing anywhere, and I
Yeah.
thought if you own it, I might have it at the house. I was like, put the disc in. I was like, or I could Plex it. But that's the thing is, I've got a lot of the horror movies. I want to check off the major ones. Hellraiser, Friday, I mentioned. But I've got Saw. I've got Nightmare. I've got the Conjuring franchise mostly. Like, I'm actually just missing the first one. Really
Yeah.
important, but
Yeah.
I'm missing it all the same. But I'm like, I can fill those boxes, but once I do, I just want to pick up the ones I see and I go, oh, no way. They have Street Trash, which I do own. But, they have Street Trash. Let me pick that up. Let me, stay more up to date, but I'm not playing catch up. And then I was like, I have, 2,000 Blu-rays at my house that are yours.
yeah.
Why not put them on the Plex? I could just put them on, and then maybe I do have Transformers. Maybe
Yeah.
I do have this other bullshit.
I know you definitely have the first one
Because right
Probably
now,
get it.
Derek doesn't touch the Plex. Why the fuck would he? There's only horror movies, old noir films, and porn. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm a simple man.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
You got your lane.
Why is he hitting play on any of those?
Yeah, yeah.
I guess Dragonheart's on there.
It's got dragons. He likes
I got
dragons.
Dragonheart. And I am putting the Sword and Sorcerer, the Roger Corman Midnight All Night Collection is what
Gotcha.
it's called. And it's a Beastmaster 1 and 2 and Deathstalker.
There's also some things I feel like there was. I was like, oh, it'd be kind of cool if you put this digitally, because it's like if this disc were to go away, I don't know where to find this anymore, because it's like some Rooster Teeth stuff where I'm like, Day 5, which Markiplier just made a movie that is essentially Day 5 that is coming out soon and people are hyped for. I'm like, oh, Rooster Teeth already did that. But it's like if my discs were to disappear, I don't know how I would watch that ever again.
Well, so
it's
that's,
like put
that's
it on
another
the
thing
Plex
about it,
and then
though,
it's
is
good.
I think about what you've probably got in that box and what you own. And I'm like, man, there's got to be some random gold in here.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
And also I'm like, but there's probably 4 copies of Clerks. And I don't
think
want
so.
4 copies. Well, I remember the King Kong. I remember the
Oh,
shelf,
yeah.
that small shelf that was separate in the sunroom you had. And that was not all your movies.
No.
But I'm like, whatever was on that shelf is probably in here.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess it could be on your, you flipped your room, but the
Yeah.
bookshelf of shit you
No,
got.
I think I just kept all the movie stuff together, and then I was like, oh, if I ever want those things, I can get it from Stokes. So it's probably in there. You probably
that's
just
the
have to
thing.
shift it.
Because I would put, if you had Red versus Blue season 1 on a Blu-ray, I would put it on Plex and put it in the R's. I would just put it there.
Yeah.
And then if you said, I'm moving to California, I'd be like, all right, well,
California.
I'd be like, cool, come to the house, pull everything off that you want, pull up. I mean, one, it's on Plex, you can have it in California
Yeah.
too, but also
You're right.
pull it all off the shelf. I'll just make a list. I would just delete them because one movie isn't much work.
Right.
It's time, but if I hit play and go do a chore or
Right.
slip my
Yeah.
there's a movie that ripped on my way here.
Oh,
It
okay.
didn't take that long as a DVD, but Deathstalker 1 and 2.
There you go.
Ripped on the way here. I didn't have to do anything for that.
But I saw this with Blair Witch, getting back to this, and I was like, I don't have a way to watch Region B, I don't think, unless one of my players somewhere is just region free, because it's like, is a console region free? Like an Xbox? I don't know.
But the thing is that this would just be worth buying to have anyway.
That's what I'm thinking.
And then it's like,
But
and
when
then if we can, then
when I went to buy it yesterday, it was sold out. So I was like, well, I guess I don't have to worry about it right now. But now I see add to cart there, and I'm like, well, I guess I better click that once we're done with this. I'm going to go buy it. Because I also got on Venmo the other day. It was one of those ones where it was removed from my phone. I just had to re-download it because my phone tries to save space
clouded,
because it's
yeah.
old. And
that's a setting. But yeah, go ahead.
it is, but I did it because it's old.
Yeah,
It's, what's the minimum on gig you can get on a phone now? Like 32?
No, 64.
64. I think this is a 32 or even a 16. So I'm like constantly having to fight space.
I think they were above 16 with the home screen gone.
Okay.
The home button gone.
So then it was probably a 32. So I'm constantly
still.
fighting space. So I wanted it setting. I was like, oh, Venmo. And I clicked on it. I was like, I have $100 in Venmo. I just forgot it was there. So I'm like, oh, I could get something.
I mean, I've had that happen where it's like, oh, good, you paid me.
And then,
And then it's like,
And when I need
I
it,
just
I'll get it.
pretend it's in my account, I guess. Yeah.
So I'm like, oh,
that's
what
like
is it?
that's like finding the 20
$50 to probably with shipping 65, 70
because it's from the UK.
from the UK.
Yeah. You'll I'm glad you're getting this for yourself because I got a different and I think much better Christmas gift for you.
Okay.
Planned.
We'll see.
Yes. Well,
Cool.
It's not really a we'll see. It's more I haven't checked the price on it because if someone told me it's $400, I'd be like, oh, I believe you. Fuck.
That's fair. That is fair. But yeah, cool. I'm gonna get on that side afterwards.
This is really cool. Yeah, there's a lot going on with
all the extras and everything. It's just really cool.
and also it does have me go like, I read the whole thing and it was like, oh, it changed the editing.
Yeah.
Like it changed every cut to a dissolve, every hard cut to a dissolve. Like it's just so unique.
It's like changing the movie in a way without changing
but if someone
the story.
told me, I filmed this to be viewed on a Game Boy, but they made me put it in theaters, I'd be like, well, yeah, you got to change some shit.
Yeah,
You know?
exactly.
But that's what they're saying here, right? They're like, we put it on, mini tape, and we had to.
I almost read through it, but I was like, it's just so much.
I read it. I read
media
the
gar-
words, but I was like, oh, it's
No, yeah, I meant
It's
like
gobbledygook.
read it on the podcast. If you hadn't heard any about it, I was going to read it to you, but I'm like, it is also so much media garble-gook that
Yeah,
it doesn't make
it's a
sense
lot
to
of that.
really anybody unless you do deal with files, really.
yeah. Which, if you do, what are you doing here?
Right. Cool. Well, I'm glad you also knew about it, and I guess I'm buying a movie once we get done here.
That's great. I'm also glad I was able to find it for you. Oh shit, there's like a book. Yeah, it's a book.
I think there was one
Blair
more
Witch
movie thing I
Project.
had, and I can't remember what it is now. So it wasn't that important in comparison to my Point Break, apparently, and this.
Point Break.
But I have some
Sure.
game things I want to talk about.
Oh, very good.
Did you see what Overwatch is doing? I'm so sad we're busy
Was this
right now.
opinion stuff? Still, because you said something about asking my opinion.
No, mostly the opinion was
The difference of this or something?
if you could do a region B, not opinion, I guess your thing.
Yeah.
Also, I was going to talk about. Can you believe that we live in a world where monkeys escaped from a research facility in South Carolina?
And did you hear that they're talking about? How did you hear about that?
Oh, something came up where I was just like, I think it was a tweet or something that's like, well, it took 2 days and the world fell apart.
Oh,
Fucking monkeys escaped from a research facility. And I was like, oh my God, it's the beginning of Planet of the Apes or beginning of 28 Days
28
Later.
days
Either
later,
way,
yeah.
we're fucked.
the rage virus is coming.
But I was like, that's so funny. Like, because how many times does that happen in a movie? But it's
Yeah.
never, it's like running into quicksand. It's like, that doesn't happen in real
you're
life.
like, is this Jumanji?
Yeah.
Like, what?
So funny.
Yeah. No, but they're talking about when they find them, round them up. One, they said if you run into them, don't be alarmed. They're the size of a cat.
Yeah,
They're
yeah.
small. They won't harm you. Just avoid them. But they're like, when we get them, we want them to keep. They said keep their freedom, and they're gonna put them in a sanctuary somewhere,
Oh, okay. That's
like
good.
globally. I was like, we're still testing on monkeys.
That
and
was the other
also,
thing too. I was like, "What do you mean a test facility still is
that's-
using monkeys?"
That's crazy.
It was all that, but I was just like, that was if we needed to fill time for the show. If we didn't feel like we had enough, we're at an hour and a half, and I still got game stuff to talk about.
God, that's so
But
funny.
that was the other thing I had. I was just like, monkeys escaped from a research facility. That's a real thing that happened. So funny. So getting into game stuff. Nope, still don't remember the movie stuff. I'm so sad we're super busy. You see what Overwatch is doing for like 3 weeks?
6 player, because that's supposed to be coming back.
Right. But like the whole thing right now?
Oh no, sorry. If it's
Classic.
much bigger.
It's
Then
version
yes.
1.
Then yes,
All the heroes operate the original way. The 6v6, you can have multiples of the same people, whole team of Winstons if you want. Like it's like day 1 Overwatch. And I'm like, that's my Overwatch. That's so good. May can freeze people in 2 seconds. Fucking just like all the different stuff that I remember and know. And I'm like, oh, there'd be so much fun to play. I want to play it right now.
Damn.
I'm so sad.
That means Mercy's ult is instant res everybody. Which would be.
Yep.
But what was her other abilities?
It's so many different.
I like don't even. I mean, because I didn't play like that. I know
Yeah.
this from people telling me.
Cassidy, or I don't even think they're going to call him McCree again, but probably
should
just
probably call him
Cassidy.
Cassidy, yeah.
Cassidy's stun grenade being back and like the way it works and just like all the different Torbjorn throwing out shields and level 3 turrets and like just everything. I was like, oh my God, that sounds so much fun. I don't have any time this week, but maybe next week I'll be able to hop on. because it just looks so
You're
cool.
playing fucking Gears on Thursday.
Well, yeah, but that's I might be able to fit in there.
Okay. I'm trying to make time for you.
It was more of a let's find some time to sit down and me and you play Classic. As much as I want to play Classic,
Yeah.
I would like to play it with you.
Well, I'd like to just play Overwatch again. I haven't played in probably the day the season came out, then that week I played.
Yeah.
But the season is like Halloween themed. I mean, we're late, but it's Halloween themed.
Yep.
And I'm like, there's a lot of good shit in here. I'd really like to get.
Yeah.
I bought the one that was also 40 cash.
Oh,
That came
dang.
with the extra skins and
Yeah,
shit because
yeah.
it's Halloween themed. I was like, yeah, give me all the spookies.
Totally.
So I would like to do that. And I got my, it came with whatever the gold, the Overwatch coins are. I just used that to buy the Uraraka My Hero skin for
Juno? Nice. It was funny because when I told you about the issue they're having with the one area with the ground
Yeah.
stuff, but it was Reinhardt, and I couldn't see Reinhardt. Obviously, I'm from his POV as they're testing, but I kept hearing Detroit Smash, and all of a sudden I went, "What am I?" Oh yeah, My Hero is in this. I went
You're like,
for a
"What
long.
is going
It
on?"
was like 4 times they said stuff, and I was like, "What are they? Why is he? What is happening?"
Yeah.
Finally, I was like, "Oh yeah, the skins. That's cool. They have the voice lines."
You probably haven't been on in a long time. Did you see, because you remember the first mythic skin for a weapon they added? Where it's, mythic skins.
Yeah, yeah,
You use the gems now to buy them instead of having to season pass it.
yeah.
They released Reinhardt a hammer that has it's like a demon hammer, and the first one unlocks it. The second one adds something where if you scroll your wheel, you spin it around.
Oh,
The
okay.
next one, the more kills you get, it levels up. Like it does different things. And
Oh,
then,
I think I did
And
see
then
somebody talking
finally, when
about
you
it.
kill somebody with it, it does a cool animation.
Mm-hmm.
It's those kinds of things. They added one last season that I max leveled or whatever for Ana. And hers is
yeah. Doesn't it,
desert themed.
Doesn't it light up or something? It has indicators of kill counts or something?
It's no,
I might be thinking of a different gun.
It has a glow to it because it's floaty, it's not touching itself all over. It's kind of there's something else. There's an energy rating through it.
Right.
But if you hit an enemy, it turns the whole gun purple
Oh,
because
very
it's
cool.
now it's doing the toxic. But when you hit an
Yeah.
ally, it turns the gun gold.
Very cool.
Yeah, and then your sleep gun when you scroll your wheel, it'll just
That's
you're
pretty
just
cool.
spinning it around. So I'm just running around the map, and it I'm wasting brain power scrolling my wheel
So you can do
nonstop
it?
so I can do it. Yeah,
That's cool.
yeah, it's pretty cool.
Well, that's cool. I'm glad. I saw that. I was like, oh, that would be a fun thing to jump back into Overwatch for. So, because at first they were talking about 6v6, like you said, coming back, and I was like, that's cool, but that's not. I mean, it doesn't
It's not
change the
gonna
way it
get
plays.
it for you, yeah.
But then talking about Classic, and then they're showing the heroes how they used to play, and I went, oh yeah, it was really cool.
They did something like that last season, towards the end during the anniversary event, where they had content creators individually take a character and make them how they wanted, and they would just mix up shit. So Ana had Baptiste's jump boots,
Oh, nice.
which was really cool. So I was like, oh, you can then get to his actual vantage point to snipe, and also her reload was instantaneous. So you could just never stop shooting really. For Bastion, they put on his auto heal again, and he was always turret. You would press shift to switch to robot form.
Oh, that's funny.
And it was just it was little shit like that on every hero. They didn't have any of the new heroes because I imagine they had to have lead time.
Right. Yeah.
So Juno wasn't there.
It's
and
not like they could be like, hey, could you have
Just quick do Juno.
this?
Yeah.
And they go, yeah. He does this now. It's not really how it works.
Exactly. Yeah, and that's balanced and fair.
Yep.
So they did that, but then they also did something where they just completely supercharged everybody. I forget what they called it, but it was a 6-week event, but every week the arcade game changed.
Oh, okay.
And it was really fun. But it felt like, oh, you're bringing back Bastion's self heal. Oh, if you go to, and so many of them were bringing back old abilities.
Yeah.
Mercy's was really fun. Everyone was taking it all the time, but it was your instant rest.
Oh, okay.
So you'd fly to them, res them, and just fly away
Instead of the, ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
That's very cool.
that was a blast. That was a lot of fun to do.
So I had a gaming thing happen. Sunday, I wanted to stream a game with Bethany, and I had a plan, and everything was great.
Whenever you have a plan for you and
Doesn't
Bethany
work.
to do something with a game, yeah.
She has gift cards on Xbox saved.
I got her one for Christmas last year.
And we wanted to use that to buy the game because it's not a Game Pass, but we only had to buy one copy because we game share, but her home console, yada yada. Nico Derico, which is
Derek the cat.
no, it's like picture Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze mixed with Crash Bandicoot, like mixed in the sense like they're copying these games and putting them together. Looks really fun. I watched Ray stream it.
Reminds me of Tomba,
Yeah.
just visually by the cover.
I watched Ray stream it, and on Kind of Funny had a podcast like the most #1 game under games that weren't given enough attention to over the year or whatever. It was like Tim Getty's first pick, and I went, "Oh, this is perfect. This is exactly what I'm looking for."
Seems like the right kind of game.
So I was like, "Bethany,
Is it co-op?
It's co-op." So I was like, "Perfect. This is great."
Oh,
Bethany, you grab your gift card, buy it for me as a gift on Xbox. So my account owns it, but then it'll be playable on your Xbox
For game share reasons.
Yep. And she did it. And it just never showed up. It just was like we had to double check. I was like, oh my God, did I not click my name? Did we click somebody else? Did I gift it to you by accident in her friends list?
That'd
Nope.
be great.
Gifted to
I'd be
me.
like, oh, sweet.
And we just 3 hours, 4 hours. We're just waiting for this gift because I'm like, I don't want to rebuy this game. It is a $30 game. It's not like I'd be out a ton of extra money, but it's like we own this game.
no, it's-
I don't want to rebuy it. Hours and hours go by. I'm like, what is happening? Finally, I'm like, let me just see your purchase page. Once we get finally in there, the code that she gifted me was on her purchase page, not at the beginning. Like it still took time. I just don't know how much time.
Sure, but then you had to input the code.
Exactly. Put in the code
Oof.
and then install and download it on my Xbox, install, download on her. And I plan on streaming it with her. So I'm
Sure.
like, we're already behind schedule. This sucks.
Whatever.
It's going. We're installed. Perfect. I load up the game. I'm like, oh, this is exactly what I want. Perfect. Here's co-op. Hit co-op. And then it shows me the screen. My player. Press something to join. I went, oh, that's weird. Oh, I'll just invite her. Click out the Xbox button. Go to get her to join. I can't invite her to play. I'm on the co-op screen. What am I doing wrong? There's only couch co-op. It's not online co-op.
You were telling James about this
Yeah.
yesterday. Yeah. Okay.
And I went, oh my God, it's 2024. I didn't know they made couch co-op games anymore, let alone a
yeah,
game
it's
that's
like
only
unhappy
couch co-op.
and sad at the same time.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
after waiting for like 6 hours to play this game on stream, ended up not playing it on stream. And I'm like, fuck it. I'm grabbing my Xbox. We're going downstairs. Let's get into the big comfy chairs, grandpa style, and just play this Nico Derico game, which is
Cool.
really awesome. Tons of fun. Very much like instead of collecting Kong, you collect Nico, but still in like the gold square letter. Like it's like Donkey Kong Country and
I was like, what do you mean Kong? What do you mean?
yeah. But it's really fun and really good. It has weird things about it, like there's voice acting, but not in the cutscenes, only in like the dialogue in the game where it's like this character pops up and here's the dialogue box. Hey, that's really funny. I think that'd be blah. But then a cutscene will happen that's like really well done animations and all that. And it's just like,
silent,
yeah. Like it's just those noises. And I went, yeah, obviously got voice actors, but you must have had a different team or timing wise didn't have the voice actors for the cutscenes.
Yeah.
But overall, it was really cool. It was really fun. I really liked it. But man, I was like, by the end of it, I was like, this game better be fucking good because it's already starting at a negative for me to sit and play it. Luckily,
So it worked
was.
from a negative up to a 6.
Yeah, and we played the first like realm. You know, like
Sure.
you get the map and you go through each thing and then you go into each level. And then I was like, oh, this is really fun. I think maybe it'll be something I want to like 100%. You know, if it's like a smaller game, it's $30. But then one of the achievements is like, yeah, you beat the whole game without dying. And I went, oh, I don't think I'm going to do that.
Yeah, you're like,
unless
I don't want
unless
to
game
do that.
really gets good. But right now I'm like, even the first few levels, I'm like,
Well, and a really good game would also mean that you have a threat of dying.
yeah.
And I don't want the threat of dying for the 8 hours I have to play it to get an
and it's
achievement.
like you get 3 hits and then you're dead, or you fall in a hole and it's instant death. And it's
Yeah.
like, I don't want to miss one jump 6 hours in and lose this achievement. So I don't think I'm going to go for 100%.
That's not for me.
But we are making sure we're going through each level, getting like each gem, each secret, like doing like all that stuff. So
That's fun.
It's been a lot of fun and I really liked it. It's a really fun couch co-op. The only thing that's hard is because we're both controlling characters, when you go to the edge of the screen, it's
Yeah.
not like you stop, it's you go off screen. And if you're off screen too long, your character dies. So it's like there'll be a moment where she's like either fighting something or trying to make a jump, and she misses the jump, and I make the jump, and the thing's lifting me up. Now she's off screen. Her head comes up with the countdown 3, 2. So I have to like drop back down to try not to kill her. Luckily, if she dies, it just says you died, and then she floats down in a bubble, and you break it, and she's back in the game.
I was going to say, then that's just a cheat code to get her up.
Yeah, it is, but it's just like, which we have done for like secrets, where I'm like, we can't make this jump, do it. We figured out we were trying to jump in the wrong spot, which is why we couldn't make the jump. Luckily, I just got lucky with a bounce or something and was able to get up there. But it is still just interesting where it's not like, oh, I run into the side of the screen, and if I walk this way, I pull her because I'm player 1.
Yeah.
It's like at some point she'll be in charge of the screen, and sometimes I'm in charge of the screen, and we just end up walking off, which is really weird.
Yeah, that's tough.
Yeah.
And strange.
It's very weird the way they did it. Did you have something? I thought you opened your mouth like you were going with something.
No.
Okay. Well, last thing I just want to talk about is Pokemon Pocket, because since we talked about it last,
Yeah, I know.
we haven't.
As we finished the conversation this morning, I was like, maybe we should have saved that.
We should have
but
probably saved a lot of it.
I had to tell you.
I know.
I had to just fucking rub it in so hard.
So if anyone out there's been living under a rock,
I'm gonna grab a soda real quick.
okay, Pokemon has a new game that came out on mobile, and just like Pokemon does almost every time there's a mobile game, it's taking the world by storm. Pokemon Pocket, or Pokemon TCG Pocket, is the new game. It's a kind of truncated version of their TCG game in paper, on a phone, in an app, different cards, different way of playing, stuff like that, collecting. You know Pokemon cards if you're listening to this show. But it's a game that I was really excited for to come out. Been waiting for it. Finally came out. I'm collecting every day, getting my packs. I paid for premium. I'm doing all the things. They start doing battles. That sounds fun. They give me a challenge to win battles, and I'm like, cool, what are the meta decks? How do I get those decks made? And I'm seeing all the meta decks, and man, I just can't get the cards to make the deck. And you can't just pay money to get a certain card. You can pay money to open packs, but my pull rate has been so poor, I would probably have to spend hundreds of dollars to get every card I need. It's crazy how hard it is for me to get cards in this game. And then Stokes walked in this morning and went, I have every card you ever wanted. I don't know why you're having star time.
My order of operations was, he's been telling me about this battle thing he's been trying forever. And I was like, oh, I don't click battle ever, so I don't know there's an event going on.
Right.
There's no badge. You have to go in and select battle, and then it'll tell you, hey, there's an event. What do you want to do?
Yeah,
the
here's
event
the screens
or
to
everything
tell
else?
you what's going on.
And I was like, oh, okay, so it's just beat this deck and then get a chance at, you get a promo pack, a chance at a promo pack, and then that promo pack has a chance again of getting you a particular good card, Lapras EX, or just other promos that I need anyway. Mm-hmm. And I was like, okay, let's just battle it. You were telling me about how many times you had to do it, and I was like, this might be tough because it's an event. It's water type, so it's weak to electric. I know Pikachu's a good deck, and I know I have a Pikachu. Turns out I have 2 Pikachus, which is what you need.
Not
you
even just 2 Pikachus, the 2 super fancified editions, which I haven't even pulled one of that
They're
style.
the only Pikachus I have. I don't have the regulars. I only have the super fancy ones.
Well, good news. I don't have the regulars either. Yep.
But so I'm like, okay, well, let me just look up and I first link top tier list, whatever, and it was Mewtwo and Pikachu, and I was like, I literally just opened a Mewtwo EX. This might be perfect. And I was like, I was so distracted by Mewtwo. I said, let me build that one. So I just found that list, copy pasted it. I was missing a total of 3 cards. I think it was 3 cards. I have a normal Mewtwo, the Mewtwo that you go through, the jump through, the super fancy. I got all the other cards and not one Gardevoir. And then I was missing 2 trainers. The trainers I just bought with this currency. I was like, there's one of the best cards in the game. I was like, I just need those 2. So easy. Got that. And I was like, I'm 1 card away. It's kind of expensive. Let me check on the electric type one because that's the one I need for this Lapras. I got too distracted. So I built that one out, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm only 1 card away again. Except that one's an EX. So I said, okay, I'll just throw in. I threw in a Ditto, which turns out is a bad call. I should swap that out because the Ditto, I didn't know you needed the matching energy type.
Oh, really?
I'll talk about that in a second.
Oh, okay.
So I just threw that in to finish the deck, and I was like, cool, let me just buy the Gardevoir because this is the deck I'm more excited about. I have all the Mewtwo. I have the sleeves, the box, the board, the whatever. So load it up. Yeah, and I was like, oh, and those are the 2 S+ tier decks. Okay, cool. So then, came in today just to tell you I could build those decks. I don't have the Zapdos EX, but you saw me. I'm pulling from the Pikachu packs now just to try to get that to complete it.
Yeah.
Otherwise, the deck I want to do is just a poison deck. It's just a bullshit poison. That's why I was like, dude, my boy Grimer, Muck.
And the Lapras event is fine because you can win the basic one with any deck. It's the actual versus real people event that's going on. That's the stupid one that I need a meta deck for, and I can't do.
Yeah, that's the one I'm not interested in. I'm never really interested in PvP, but the thing you win is an emblem that highlights something on your profile. And I'm like, yeah, I don't care. I'm a card. Give me the cards.
For me, it was just like,
Give me the cards.
if this is the first one, I'm not going to keep up with it forever. Let me get the first one
set?
done. Like, the first set of emblems.
Oh, emblems.
And then I can just put it on my profile, and it will be there until I'm never playing this game again.
And then when people look, they'll be like, oh my God,
he's
got
been
the
here
first emblems.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It is so. I think I have to
That
win
ain't me,
45 wins to get that emblem. I think I'm at 12, and I've played
you're on your
quite
way.
a bit. And I've definitely lost.
You've got a week, right? Is it next Monday?
The 28th, I think it ends.
Oh my God, even longer.
And
You got 16 days, dude. At this rate, you'll be there in no time.
again, yes, but I have lost a lot of games.
Yeah.
Because everyone else seems to be able to have the cards that they need. So the one deck that's helping me win is a stupid stall deck.
Have you paid into this game at all?
Yeah.
Besides the fake premium,
Yes.
whatever. What have you paid into? Be real.
I think I've only played 10. I
10
think
bucks? Five twice?
Because there's the gold, and
Yeah.
the gold has like discounted things for like the first purchases. Whatever the biggest one of that is, I bought. I think which was a $10 one.
Oh,
Because you could buy
see.
$1, $5, $10.
Yeah.
I think I bought the $10
There's the
one.
one that comes with Pokegold and coins, the Erica coins or whatever.
No, it's like if you go into the store,
You don't have to show me. I'm not paying for
it's
it.
just in the gold where you see all the different gold options. There's an option above that where it may be gone now. Where it was
I
like
don't think it's there anymore.
in the first
Yeah.
week of playing or the
It
2
might
weeks
be.
or whatever.
It's the tile, the long tile. That's like a gift box on the left with shit on the right.
Nope.
No? Okay, keep going.
It's like the same emblem of like pay $1 for Pokegold, you get 5 Pokegold.
All right, I'll fucking pull it up. Jesus Christ.
You pay $5, you get 5 Pokegold. For the event or the game coming out, it was spend $1, you get 5 gold plus an additional 15 gold because it's discounted because you're just starting out or you're the first new player. So yeah, go to Pokegold.
No, I'm in the shop. Yeah, okay. Go to Pokegold.
Yep. These guys. I did the far right one at $10.
Oh,
because it gives you
it's
extra.
still just a gold symbol.
Yep.
See, I thought you were talking about this.
Yeah, no,
That's why I was like, that's $20, and that's
I've thought about it, but I'm like, even with the gold, I don't think I'm gonna pull the cards out of the packs. I just don't think I just don't have it in me. I just don't got it. I don't got it in this game, and I could put all the money I wanted.
That's the thing is the people you're playing against. They probably had something samey happen. Like I've opened up a lot of packs, and I target farmed one particular pack. Like every pack I've opened has been Mew. I switched to Pikachu a few times, and I did get the fancy Pikachus, but like the Mew one. It's all Ralts and Gardevoirs and bullshit like that. It's 2 Mew EXs. Those are the only cards of any value.
Yeah,
I pulled them, which is lucky.
I was gonna say,
But if people didn't, I mean, you're saying there's 4 other decks and other things. I haven't built those.
Yeah.
I've given no money. But if someone went like our friend Ash, just based off of her level, there's no world she's 5 levels ahead on a free to play. It's impossible, right?
I mean, she just plays more because you get a lot of XP for versus.
For
so if
versus.
you're just playing,
yeah,
more.
I guess that's true. But she also has the purple emblems that have Charizard, Mew,
Yeah.
which means that's collection based. That's how you get that currency.
Yeah.
So she is paying money for this, which is
Totally.
fine. I mean, because the way I think about it too, I'm like, if this is a game that's going to take that much time out of your mental, to take that space, it's like just give it $20. I'm cool with that.
Right.
I was thinking. So today, Foundations comes out on Arena, and considering how fucking awesome Foundations is, how it is going to be a foundation for a thing going forward, I'm like, I should probably buy these cards. Like I should actually get. Shay wants to play more Arena. I still play Arena every once in a while, and I like to build new decks. So I should probably just get all the Foundations.
Right.
And they have a special introductory $50 thing. Like you can't spend the diamonds on it. You have to spend $50. And I was like, $50. And then I was like, it's only because it's a mobile game, but $50 on Magic cards.
That's not crazy.
That is not even a drop in my bucket. You know what I mean?
To be fair,
it's that's like a rounding error
Yeah.
my bucket. You know what I mean? That's truncation.
But if you translate that to Pokemon, for Pokemon play cards, $20 is like half a deck cards, right?
My Ting Lu deck was $18.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
I mean, mine was
Pokemon
really
cards
like
shouldn't be that
400, but
expensive. I understand.
I got fancy.
If I wanted all the fancy stuff and I want to get the pulls, totally. But if I just want the cards to be able to play the deck, a base EX card should not cost me an arm and a leg to get.
Yeah. Well, and if I'm looking at this game and saying PTCGL, the other Pokemon TCG app live, that one, because you cannot give it money. It's actually impossible. Like we pitched that all the time when we owned a store. We're like, hey, if you want to play the digital game, you can safely put it on your kids anything because you cannot pay them money.
Right.
Even if I wanted to, you can't. Closest thing you could do to use code cards to scan in, you could buy code cards online, which we did.
Yep.
And it was a great way to do it. And it was
amazing,
insane because it's, you buy a pack, you open a pack, you get a code card, you scan it in, you get a pack in the game, which is why doesn't Arena do that? I wish, dude. I would be so jacked on Arena if I had every card in the game because I open up 1,000 packs of cards every set. Anyway, but I imagine they're looking and they're like, cool, we need a card game because that's what everyone's tied to the cards more than the anime, more than the books, more than the video games, maybe. I don't know. But they have Go, they have other things for mobile. So they're like, we want a mobile game that makes us money that's card based. This is a money grabbing thing. And you, as someone who's just play focused, is like, this requires money. You're like, I'm so mad that this requires money. I can't just free to play my way. If I showed you every Arena deck I have built that isn't complete because I can't afford the cards, because you have to pull packs to open them. You can only pull packs by buying them. It's the same problem.
That's the thing is, I'd be happy to give it money if it wasn't gambling.
It is on Arena too.
Man.
I mean, if I want one card, right, I could say, I'll pull the packs from the set that I want the card from. But if I don't get it, you're guaranteed one rare card every 6, and every 6 packs you open, you get a rare wild card, and every 6 rare wild cards is a mythic wild card. So I could say, I can guarantee myself this rare 4 times if I get 24 packs, right? Like, guarantee. It's the reason it's not gambling is because, like, well, there's a way to get what you want.
Right.
Which is the same thing here.
No, there's no guarantee.
Literally any card you want, buy enough packs, open up enough.
100 packs.
I'm sorry, but that's the same thing. It's just fucked that it's so much. I mean, it's a much smaller card pool in this than Arena.
Yeah.
So it's also, you can't go too wild with it because they're just like, well, you just build, like if a new set comes out for Pokemon on live today, I have the wild card resources to get every card.
Right.
You know, I don't need to work. I could probably get fancy things and whatever because I have all the cards I need. But this one is for money. Your frustrations are real, but if you are play focused, you can't play this app.
Yeah.
Unless you want to pay money, which is totally fine and is their goal. But you shouldn't pay money for an app if it's not giving you what you want.
I almost, as like,
just play live. You have everything you want there.
I almost want, I think it might not bug me as much if everyone else doesn't seem to have better luck pulling stuff.
I know. I had to rub it in.
That's
You know
really,
I had to. Dude.
I know, but I'm like, maybe I should pay $10, $20, and have you open $20 and me open $20 and just see if I shouldn't play the game. Like, is there a line where I shouldn't play this game?
You owned a store for however long. You know pack luck isn't real.
I know that, but I feel like I'm getting it. Like I'm like getting so bad pulls that it's like insane to me. And then, I mean, this is besides the point because obviously I'm only seeing it because it's big things, but I'm like, I got my first God pack. There's a God pack in pocket, this and that. I'm like,
I don't even know what that is. I haven't seen. I mean, I know what a God pack is, but in physical things, it's just real, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
I also like in Magic, they did it with Kaldheim and Theros only because those are God themed sets. And I was like, you fucks, that's clever. You're smart.
It's in
I
the
like
set.
that
It's all the golds, all the fancies, everything. Every card is amazing, yada yada. And I'm like, man. I understand
I've never seen that. I don't have whatever.
That's beside the point because it's on TikTok. It's whatever they're showing me because it's that big of a thing, and it's not everywhere. It's not everybody, but it's just like when Alec gets on and 12 hours later, he goes, "Oh, dude, look at this Pikachu I just pulled. You can go into the art." And I went, "Are you kidding me?"
What if, would you believe me? I swear to God, this is true. It was my first Pikachu pack. I got one. And I was like,
it's crazy.
my thought was, it must be because it's Pikachu.
It's got to be guaranteed.
It must be because it's Pikachu. Well, the Squirtle you got,
Yeah.
right, when they teach you the Wonder Pick, guaranteed.
So even my one good luck
the
is
Bulbasaur I got, same thing, guaranteed.
okay.
I just opened up another one. You know what I'm saying? I got two of
So
them.
really,
unloaded
the
up.
only lucky pull I had, which I thought was the Squirtle opening, wasn't even. It was guaranteed. So I have
Guaranteed.
had
Everyone got their starter in that fancy version it changed based on the pack you pick.
right. I
So-
guess the only luck I did have is I did pull the Lapras from the event, but I grinded for that Lapras event.
Yeah. I
So-
mean, you've got other full art cards. They're just
Yes, very
like,
few.
I pulled another Diglett today, this morning, and I was like, oh, cool. Gobbled it up for one of those purse
Special,
coins,
yeah.
for the special, because I'm like, it's 24 to get the board, and I'm like, that's great. I'm doing 12 for the sleeves.
Yeah.
24 is
lot.
insane. Yeah, 12. I think I have 3 because I got enough duplicates of enough fancy cards, which is not nothing. But
Yeah.
I'm free to play, kind of. I mean, I'm on the trial of the paid, so I haven't paid any money, but I'm getting an extra pack every day. I should probably just do it right now. I will be canceling that because I'm like, I'm not going to play this. I realize that what I like about the play of Pokemon is not the way that they want me to play in this app.
Yeah.
I feel limited on my decision making, and like this game is a Pokemon first, trainers last. And what I like so much about the TCG is that trainers are the function of the game,
Yeah.
and they're a nickel a piece, a dime a dozen, and
Yep.
they're just, and they are what functionally make the deck work. So I'm more interested in trainers, funny enough.
Yeah.
And it's not for me. So
It is sad
I wish I could send my cards to you. I'll send them.
Well,
trading will open.
I was gonna say, yeah, keep your account open so you can trade them later on.
Yeah.
But for me, it's sad because when it was coming out, a lot of people were like comparing it to like Snap, which is Snap is like almost all play. Like that's the whole point of the thing.
And it's the only way you can earn anything.
Yeah.
And it's still random.
Right.
No way to buy cards or anything.
But I was kind of hoping that the play of this would be better. And oddly enough, I feel like the balance of going first is awful. Like you do not want to go first in this game. That's why Articuno the deck feels so strong. It's because you can go first and do something.
Yeah, I mean it is tough though because it's in arena. You don't want to go second. Like there's no Magic player in any scenario ever that wants to go second, really.
Yeah.
So where the Pokemon TCG, it changes.
It depends on the deck,
Like
yeah.
your type of deck might want to go second.
Yeah.
It might want to go first. Like you might want to start the lockout early, or you want to be the first to attack.
Yeah.
But
Interesting.
so it's kind of. I hear you, but also it's just funny that it's like you won. You're going first, and that's a bad thing. That's
Yeah.
the funny thing. Because if going second was as bad as it is going first, you'd be like, oh, okay, well, it's because you lost the coin flip, and you're
Yeah.
fine with it, But why are you patting me on the ass as I'm,
Yeah.
It's really a spanking, is what you're
Yes.
giving me, but you're telling me it's a nice pat.
Yeah, and I think I just will have to. I might still grind for like this first emblem to try to get that on my account, and then I probably won't do the play anymore. But I guess for me, it's like also like, well, I guess I could just work on collecting. But then I'm like, well, my pulls have been so bad, I can't collect really.
One of
anyway.
the other things to think too is that these people might also have a month on you.
I guess that is
Remember,
true
because like
it
we had
came
people
early.
in the store that were like, that had pocket because they just made a New Zealand
That's true.
account.
That means
or
they
whatever.
could have at least 60 more packs, which is 300 more
minimum
cards.
60 more packs.
Yeah, 300 more cards. So or 300 more card pulls.
300 more cards, but also 300 or 60 packs, right? 60 packs is also 300 of that essence stuff. That is
That's
also
true.
just like, and if they're getting their daily time thing, it's also another free 10 packs because of it's just the daily free stuff.
That's true. That's
so
true.
it's like all of those people might have a lot of time on you without it being your fault.
Yeah, that's true. I think it's just you and Alec also making me bitter. You
Oh
jerks.
yeah, for sure. You saw me install it.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Well, I mean, you didn't literally, but we came in and talked about it the day before. Like it went live hours ago, and you're like, man, I got 2. I'm like, look at my binder.
Christ, dude, it's
And
so
I spent
crazy.
no dollars,
like,
bro.
ah.
No money.
Well,
0 buckaroos.
Oh, well, it's how it goes sometimes.
It's, you know what? They're listening to me. They're like, this guy's an elf collector. you know?
Oh, yeah.
Which I don't know if I've explained. There were 3 types of collectors that Shay brought up. She related. It was related to dice in Dungeons and Dragons.
Oh, okay.
And she's like, you have the goblin collector who doesn't collect and asks to borrow dice when you go somewhere and is just doesn't care and is crazy. That's a Blake.
Gotcha.
He's like, these cards mean nothing. I'll throw them away to get different ones. And, you know, then there's the quantity person. I don't remember what they were. What we could say bard or something. It was another thing. But then the elf collector
Probably
is
like a dragon, like a horde. Dragon collector?
Yeah, dragon collector.
Something like
It
that.
actually sounds right. That
Okay,
sounds
cool.
right. So it could have been a dragon collector. But then there's an elf collector that's like for me, I have 1 set of D&D dice and they're amethyst, like the
Period.
gemstone.
Done.
And
Nailed
it was
it.
like, I'm done. Why do I need any more dice?
Yes.
I don't believe in the luck or whatever. I'm a fancy person. And I was like, yeah, I mean, in cards, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
My cloth deck was $800. And
it was a meme deck.
And it was a meme deck. It was a meme deck, and it must have retailed at $11.99.
I was gonna say $800 cloth deck where the world championship deck was $32 to build.
Well, I remember my Ting Lu I just said was 18. That
Yeah.
was the TCG lowest. That was the price of
Yeah.
if you were to cheapest everything. Mine was in the near 400. Because I'm just like, fuck it, make it gold. Fuck it, make it full art. Give me a
Yeah.
shiny. Make it the alt. Like, let's do, you know.
So funny.
I am who I am. But I'm thinking they know that about me. And they're like, we could give this guy functionless garbage, but if it's pretty, he's in.
He's in. So they just send it. Yeah.
And they gave me the pretties, and I'm like, fuck this game. And you're over here like, please. Not getting the form or the function.
Yep.
You just got no dice.
I was getting nothing.
You're asking for dice, and they're handing you calculators, you know? Yeah, they're emailing you digital dice.
Yep. Well, it sounds like a perfect time to wrap up as energy drops. And actually, I'm pretty fucking hungry. So, thanks everybody for hanging out today. Really appreciate it. If you checked us out on Patreon, thank you for listening. If you checked us out on YouTube later, thank you for watching. So much stuff we had to get through today. A lot of watch. Our like housekeeping or whatever you want to call it, is like the first hour. Our actual podcast
about
is
an hour and a half
and then
almost.
an hour. Yeah, it's crazy. But I like it because I think we probably talk a lot more. I think it's more interesting to talk about what we watch and how we experience things more than, hey, did you see this trailer? That trailer. We didn't get into trailers at all. Hey, did you see this trailer? Yeah, I think it looks good. Me too. That's about it, usually.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I like talking on like microtransactions, thinking about, you know,
yeah.
like that kind of stuff too, like more high level things, I guess. But
Yeah.
I
But
don't know. I always like talking about what I watched.
Yeah. Mission Impossible trailer came out. We're going to see it.
Yeah,
There it is.
Yeah. That's how I feel about most trailers nowadays.
Yeah.
I'm just like,
what am I going to do now? Watch it?
exactly. Or I'm like, oof, that looks real fucking bad. You know, nothing has me go, that's a perfect movie anymore. I've been beaten down by a good trailer
Yep.
so many times.
But yeah.
Now that my energy's low.
No. All right, we better get out of here. Thank you so much for watching once again, everybody. Appreciate you all so much. Again, be streaming on Thursday later on. Stokes, do you have anything else for today?
Nothing.
Then we're going to sign off as we always do, and we're going to say sweet dreams, and we'll see you for breakfast.